Well, hello everybody, and welcome to it's another rainy day for me. It's gloomy, but it is a red letter day though because it's a holiday here in Japan. Would you like to know what the holiday in Japan is, Thundero?
Tell me.
The morning is bad, but the afternoon is good. Ocean Day.
Ocean Day.
Yeah, yeah, but it literally
Well,
on the calendar it says the morning is bad, but the afternoon is good. Ocean Day. I have no
why?
idea. I don't ask questions, but that's what it
I
says.
I have a couple questions. What? And then two, why ocean? Why do we have a? We're celebrating the ocean. Like, is
I
that
have no idea
it's
why Japan has an ocean
ocean
day. I
celebration?
have no clue whatsoever.
Do
But
they understand they don't live in the ocean?
yeah, no,
The ocean's around,
and they're
but
not
they're not
even
in the
really
ocean.
ocean people. They're more mountain
No.
people. I know they're on islands, but it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it is. It's a day off, and I ask, as with most Japanese holidays, I say, "What do you guys do on the, not bad in the morning, good in the afternoon, ocean day?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's what they say." But yeah, Japanese really don't celebrate anything these days. But I do have a
Bad in the
little bit
morning,
of
good in the
I
afternoon.
do have a little something to start us off though before we get chatting. I figured I'd better for I'll do that in a second. But yeah, first things first, right? So let me
Yeah.
see here. Is this the one? I think that's the one.
Uh
I'll
oh.
get to that in a second here. Is that the one?
All I'm looking at is a folder
No, that's
of
not.
miscellaneous pictures.
Yeah, that's not the one. Let's see here. Let me try. I'm gonna try again. Oh yeah, this is the one. Okay. All right. I did find a little bit of a I did find a little bit of a pick for you guys though.
Uh oh.
You guys might appreciate
Little of the old of the Mr. Eagle himself.
with the sound effect. Could you hear the sound effect? I embedded it.
I do not hear
Let
this
me do it again.
effect.
Let me do it again. Okay, not happening that time. Hold on a second. All right, it only happens once. You just get it once.
You only get
Okay.
one.
You only get one, so be happy with it. But we got Mr.
Yep.
Eagle here. But let me go over and bring this up. And yeah, we had a incident
Bit of a bit of a happening.
a little bit.
The boys who say nothing ever happens.
Yeah,
There's this whole group online that they're the nothing ever happens boys. They
yeah,
always say nothing ever happens. Well, their
yeah.
their stocks are down bad.
A
They're
little
they're
bit,
in the mud.
a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me make sure it's all nice and visible. But yeah, I just wanted to start day off with a little bit of a montage. Of course, America, we are the new Rome, for better or worse, or whatever the reasons. We can have long, long, long Tartarian conversations about that, um, and why we call Indians Indians. I do
Yep.
love that one where Christopher Columbus was such an idiot that he thought that these were actual Indians and never asked. And for the past 500 years, we just accepted it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's how people
Yeah.
are. But anyway,
Yeah.
we're not here to talk about that. We're here about to talk about America,
Murica.
America, America.
I will say,
Oh,
I will. That is a great image. I will say, um, American iconography is probably the best going.
oh yeah, we got the propaganda
Americana,
down, dude. We know
it's so good.
it
It's
is good.
so good.
It
It's
is good.
so
I
powerful,
got more America if you'd like.
beautiful.
Would you like some more America?
Let's see it. Let's get 'em- Let's get all America up in here.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
oh,
hmm
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
remember when he did that. I
I
remember it. I
do.
started laughing. I said, "This guy's a meme. He's a
He
living
is.
meme. I
He
can't
is.
handle
He
him."
is. He is. Of course, he's proud. Loves his country. Loves his country.
I don't know. I mean,
America.
listen. I know a lot of people dislike Donald Trump. I know a lot of people genuinely believe he's Orange Hitler, and that's fine. They're idiots, but
Which is
that's fine.
stupid, but well, okay, fine.
They're allowed. They're allowed to be stupid. That's what America's all about,
It's
baby.
true.
Um, However, how can you look at some of the things that happened, which we're going to be getting into, and not at least respect? Like, are you so without honor that when somebody does something with great courage, great dignity, that you can't give it the one of the reasons why we have this little saying called give the devil his due isn't for the devil, it's for you. Because if you can't show even the worst person a little bit of dignity
Yeah.
when they've done the right thing or a good thing or whatever thing, you can't give them their credit, then you are without honor. You are an honorless person, and I don't want anything to do with you. I can't trust you. I wouldn't trust you around children. I wouldn't trust you around my
Oh no.
wife. I don't want nothing to do with you if you have no honor. Nothing.
He's great
Nothing.
around kids, by the way. This guy.
Yeah, they love him.
Yeah, they
Love
do.
him.
Yeah, I mean, see his little grandchild just come running up, where Biden's run away, and for good reason.
Well,
Yeah.
kids they're like dogs in a way. They can just kind of tell.
Well,
They got you sussed out.
Their mentality's about the same at that age,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, very instinctual beings.
Some people
at
get
that
upset with that when I say things like that. It's a human being. No, they're like about dog level
Yeah.
when little ones.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially the real little ones. I mean, your
Yeah, that's what
average
I mean,
dog,
yeah.
not your average dog, but your really smart dog breeds are about as smart as a 3-year-old human, give or
Yep.
take.
Or 3 to 5. We have some that are
Yeah.
really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe my dog's probably closer to 5. He's smart. He's ridiculously smart. It's dangerous how smart he is because if you're trying to get him to not get out of the yard or do this thing or that thing and he doesn't want to do it, he'll find a way. Now he'll obey you when you say to, but if you're not around for whatever reason, he'll find a way.
Oh
to
yeah,
do the
they
thing he
are
wants to do.
rascals that way. That's true. I got
Yeah.
more America. Would you like to see it?
Let's see it. Let's get all America up in here.
Aw.
Look at it.
Smile.
Look at that big smile.
Nice one.
The man is the man's something else. That's what I'm saying. He might be the most photogenic man alive.
He's very mean.
His face has
and he loves them.
so much character. So much character in Trump's face. It's outrageous.
Yeah. Let me just inject here again. See if I can get it going again here. Hold on. No, only once. You just get it once.
Only one.
Yeah, it is what it is. Deal with it. Okay. Oh yeah.
Look at it.
Campaign trail. Only campaign trail.
Look at him.
America.
Old Donald.
The greatest photograph that has ever been doctored in the history of ever, and it shall remain this way. We all know that flag's actually a little bit more to the right. We get it. I don't give a shit. That's the greatest photograph of all time, right there.
It is, right there. They nailed it. You're not gonna top that one. Done it. This is the peak. This is the zenith of human photography.
Kidding me?
Yeah,
right.
It's perfect.
Blood on the face, fist in the air, American flag soaring above. Can you hear the screaming eagles? Can you hear it?
That's right. Do you hear the eagles cry? That's the only thing that would be better if there was an eagle just happened to be coming in, behind him.
Yeah, I'm sure that's been added. Now, Elon's the first person I saw drop this image. Now, I've seen the original image, and I'm just getting it out there because you know how the world is. They did move the flag slightly more center frame. The flag actually is a little bit more to the right of this picture. It's still there, though. It's still an amazing photo, but I wonder, maybe it was Elon. Maybe Elon moved it over or did something.
I think he got it from Tucker because I think I saw Tucker post this particular one first. And I'd imagine, they have their little connection, so I bet that's where he got it from.
Maybe, but it doesn't matter. It's It's just simply made to be more photogenic. But it's irrelevant. It's such an epic moment, and not talking about the fact that the Secret Service radically dropped the ball. Not talking about the fact that the boss of the Secret Service is a lady. Did you know that?
I don't understand why that's a thing.
She made sure that his team was all brand new people, and you can see it. You can see it. I literally saw 4 to 6 ladies running around who don't even know how to holster a gun. I can do that.
Correct.
I'm an old gray hair, and I know how to holster.
And you have not been given the extensive training that these people are given, and you are also not given the responsibility, the duty to protect one of the most powerful men in the world, or at least
No.
a man trying to be again the most powerful man in the world. Uh, the fact that these young ladies, I'll be gentle with them, are that clearly flustered at what just happened, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be flustered, but they should still maintain their professional. That's the point of their job. Their
Yeah, you
job
should
is to
hire
be the
people that don't panic,
professional.
right?
Yes, you have to be the professional in the room when things go sideways when you're protecting somebody at any level. It doesn't matter whatever your bodyguard job is, but especially the Secret Service. I said this the other day. I'm like, that's the Secret Service now? These people? Nobody in there. Not even a dude, the older looking dude in the back there. Nobody looks like they belong in this duty.
Mm-mm.
When I just 20 years ago, the Secret Service looked like bad motherfuckers. That's
Yeah,
what
they
they all
did.
look like.
You know,
You didn't want to mess with them.
one thing I do recall from this, and he survived it, so we're going to talk about it, of course, and I'm sure you guys going to have opinions as well.
Yeah,
But the thing with it though is, I remember, 40 years ago now, when I was a high school kid, right? Um, the Reagan shooting, which
yeah,
Hinckley and Jodie Foster, she never got any, she didn't get even a slap on the hand for that, dude. Yeah,
right.
you know that really weird lesbian actress lady? She was directly involved in the shooting of Ronald Reagan. Her would-be suitor was trying to impress her by killing Reagan because she hated him so much and said she wanted him dead so much he thought that she'd like it. Jodie Foster
Yeah,
never got anything. But then again, these Hollywood elite ladies and men too, but especially ladies, they never get called out for nothing, do they?
no,
But
no,
whatever. But I remember the Secret Service, and they overreacted in a way because that was instant. That dude was put into the car. Matter of fact, initially, news reports thought that the Secret Service guy had just knocked Reagan down in his exuberance.
right.
That he
Trying
hadn't
to
even been
protect them.
hit. And his son, I guess, or I think it was his son, Michael Reagan, is it or?
Something like
I
that.
think it was Michael Reagan. They thought that the Secret Service thought that they were so rough and getting him so quickly in the car and leaving that they had broken his rib. In reality, he got hit with a bullet as well.
Right.
Um, but I remember that, and that Secret Service response was, let's say, punctual. Yeah.
Yes.
This
It was
one,
professional.
yeah, it was very professional. This one
Yeah.
wasn't great. Now the people who are on the stage did their thing. I don't really have much problem with it. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. They took I don't know. I wonder if they had told him that they were going to take his shoes off. Some reason they looking for holes, right? They open your shirt. They searching for holes and see where did you get hit. And
Right.
somehow in the process of that, shoes must be taken off. But whatever. He got his shoes back. And but it's more important what happened on the outside because this shot was taken from 150 yards. Now I can hear the shot and then his reaction. So I'm assuming some internet autistic nerd has measured that time, and with my ears, I thought that sounded like a 32 or a 40-40. Yeah,
Right.
I think it's smaller. I got to go with a 32, like a Winchester round, right? Is what it
Right.
sounded like to me. It didn't. It could have been an AR, but I don't know. ARs are more plinky, right? They're
Right.
a little bit more
Yeah.
plinky in their sound, and 152, 154 yards for an AR. Boy, you got to be wicked, wicked, wicked good shot though at that range with
Right.
that weapon. That's not the weapon you bring to an assassination, just so you all know.
No.
So I
Bring
immediately,
a proper rifle.
yeah, no, so I immediately know this wasn't some, deep state, you know, taking a pop shot at the president here. I immediately knew that because they would have hit him, right? Um,
Well, you say they would have hit him. The guy did still technically hit him. Um, I mean, technically he did hit him. The only reason Trump is alive is he turned his head at the last possible
yeah,
fraction of a second. That's it. We've seen people. The internet autists have been on it. They've already checked the angles. They've done all the math and out the geometry, physics, all of it. And considering that Trump did get hit, so it's not speculation because we know Trump did get hit.
he did
We've
get
seen
hit.
it.
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah.
Um, so we know which way the shots were coming from,
Yeah.
and we know the angles and stuff. And they pointed it out. I saw somebody made a little diagram that showed had he not turned his head right when he did, it would have went right through pretty much where his medulla oblongata is. That instant, it would have killed him instantly. There'd been
Yeah.
no, there's no surviving that. You're done.
No, I agree. I've seen
Uh,
a lot of the memes of the God hand grabbing the bullet and moving it. Yeah, I've seen
yep.
those. And fair enough, circumstance, right? But whatever the
Divine intervention is
yeah,
what I would
but
call it,
whatever the
because
situation
he.
was from that range, it's a pretty good shot.
Yep.
It's a pretty good shot.
Yep. Yep. No, he didn't. No, that's what I'm saying. Is I. It doesn't make any sense. There's no. I don't believe in coincidence. We live in a mathematical universe. There is no such thing. The fact that Trump turned his head at that moment at the exact right angle to not die. Because if he had turned it too far, he'd have taken it through the face. He turned it at the exact right angle for that to only hit his ear, the top of his ear.
Yeah.
If he had overturned, he would have taken it in the face. If he had not turned enough, he would have still taken it in the back of the head. Uh, that to me, that to me is a miracle. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
care what anybody says.
Yeah, I've
I mean,
heard a lot of people say that. Yeah.
it's just crazy for it to be that precise. The
Yeah.
precision in that turn and the geometry of it, it's got to be a mathematical impossibility or damn close
Well,
to a mathematical impossibility.
but he did survive it. But you just keep in
He
mind
did.
downrange because I did a lot of hunting when I was younger, right? And downrange, 150 yards. Basically, your target is a little bit less than an inch in your vision,
Yeah,
in your view,
yeah.
right? So that's a shot. But they got him immediately. Some sniper on the roof who was pointing at the ground somehow got him on a roof. But whatever, they got him.
Yep.
We don't know that that sniper's the one who took him out. Someone else did because we don't have all the information, but there were people in the crowd saying for like several minutes they were saying, "Dude, there's some guy with a rifle on the roof over there." We'll
Yeah.
see. It'll
They-
all come out. But we do know that Secret Service did drop the ball here.
well,
We
there's only. I mean, we can figure out at least the plausibilities, the scenario. One is exactly what you said. Secret Service just completely dropped the ball for various reasons, whether it was malice or incompetence. We won't know for a while. We may never know. But that's one option. There's also, of course, the other option. The other options are that they were told to ignore that guy until he fired.
maybe.
Um, and the fact that Trump just got quote lucky and turned his head at the last possible second. Because think about it, let's suss it out real quick. Say you were going to plan to assassinate somebody like that. You get a patsy, which is what they do. You get a patsy, you send him in, get him all fired up and full of piss and vinegar. You get him a gun, or you make him provide his own gun, one way or the other, right? And then you get rid of the patsy after the job's done. It's
Yeah.
happened how
Oh,
many times in
oh,
American
I doubt.
history?
Well, world history. You can't even count it.
Yeah,
Literally, the word patsy comes from an Italian family name.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Um.
the fact that that sniper clearly had him in his sight, at least enough that he knew something was going on. I don't know what all he could see, but he could see something because
Well, let's.
as soon
Yeah.
as Trump took a hit, he hit boom. It was boom boom. There
Yeah.
was there was
Well, you
maybe
can
a
hear the
tenth of a
crack of a
second.
sniper rifle. It has a very
Yeah,
different sound. That's 50 caliber round. Um.
yeah, blew him
But
blew him basically apart. What it
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They hit him in the chest, I think. Keep
Yep.
people say, "Oh, we hit him in the head." No, that's arterial spray, is what that is, and
Yes.
oxygenated blood coming out of his ears and his nose and mouth and stuff.
So
In that
those are
photograph.
your two main scenarios. Either it was mass incompetence by the Secret Service,
Uh,
or somebody wanted all of it to happen the way it did. Either they orchestrated it, or they didn't try, or they at
maybe.
least didn't stop it. Because there's just no way, man. There's no way for somebody to get that close. 150 yards in an open
Later
environment
storyteller.
is way too close to be
Right.
getting to a former
Well,
president or a president with a rifle in your hand.
right.
How did
Well,
that happen?
we can give them the shooter. We can the shooters. The good guy shooters. We can give them
Yes.
benefit of the doubt that the process was moving. The cops were starting to look, which sounds like is what they were doing. They were aware. They were looking in that direction, and it took off, and they dealt with it. So
There's a very good chance
we'll
if
give him the
we
benefit of
ever
the doubt.
get like a Freedom of Information Act or something, and we get the radio chatter from it, which could happen. We'll hear exactly what you're saying. That the snipers were up there. Hey, I got somebody over here. Hey,
Yeah,
can I
yeah,
shoot? Can I go? Can I go? And
yeah,
he just never got an answer.
yeah,
And by the time the guy fired, he was like, "Well, fuck it. I don't care if they say yes or no. I'm just gonna.
yeah.
He's got to
No,
go.
it kind
Fired."
of it felt like that, honestly. If you look
Yeah.
at it, it's what it felt like. Now, of course,
Yep.
the greater question is why was that building, which is clearly in line of sight for anybody that has a, I could have made that shot, right?
Yes.
For and I mean, and I'm just a American hunter guy, So
Right.
the average person isn't making that shot, but if you have experience, you can make that shot. That building certainly would be under, would be covered, right? But it wasn't. So, and of course, they came out. The Secret Service immediately came out. If you guys didn't notice this little clip, saying there's rumors going around that we didn't give former, of course, as always, former President Trump the full coverage that he deserves. We gave him exactly what is called for a an elected official on, yada yada yada. Meaning we did. It's not our
Right.
fault. And of course, that's not really true. That he was given a crew, and the lady who runs the Secret Service said, "Yeah, we gave him new people too, but he had to fight for it." And keep in mind, Robert Kennedy, who's also a viable candidate, he's probably going to take 7% of that vote, right?
Yep.
Um, Robert Kennedy ain't got none. They said, nah, nah, screw off. You're a disloyal Democrat. You don't get any Secret Service whatsoever. Even though he's
Yep.
literally a Kennedy, saw his
That's
daddy shot, literally.
and his uncle.
Why
Both of
was he
them
there
went
for his
down.
uncle? Was he there for?
I don't
He,
know if
well, I bet you he
he's
was in the
definitely
vehicle
seen it.
behind. No, I bet you he was.
Since even if he wasn't, since then he's definitely seen it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's that's a
Well, I
reality
mean,
of his life.
it is outrageous, right? It is outrageous, and
It
yeah, I'm going to
is.
cover
Yeah.
that in a minute, Bob. But whatever the situation is, the reality is, Trump survived, and this modern term of ultra Chad boy
Yeah.
exists for him solely,
That's right.
because you get shot. You get a bunch of dudes and girls on top of you. It's like, all right, get me up, get me up, get me up. Wait, 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 wait. Which honestly, they should not have listened to the president. They should have been dragging him
No.
off, but they let him
Yes.
stand and reveal his head again, right?
Yep.
But yet he pumps out and he yells out, "Fight!" Even though they cut the mic. Did you notice that?
I did.
Yeah,
I
but
did.
we can read his lips very clearly. Fight, fight, fight. Ultra Chad, dude. Ultra.
Yeah.
Ultra.
Yeah.
That's
I said it.
America right there.
I said it in the Discord here, and I've been saying it. I wasn't because I told, like I said, I don't usually bother voting where I live. It's a pointless exercise, but I'm definitely voting for him this time,
Yeah,
hundred
no,
percent.
definitely vote. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't even care. I don't even care. It's not even about policy. It's not about anything like that. And I understand that my vote, voting is largely an exercise of futility, especially where I live. But that's not the point. The point is these people don't get to win. That's it. That's it. Just like Trump said he was going to, delay and postpone a bunch of his events because of what happened. And then he was like, no, 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 the shooter doesn't get to win, basically. We don't get to
Yeah,
let
I
him
think
change
that
my
was
schedule.
politic. I mean, look the way he stood
Um,
up and raised his fist. This dude wasn't backing down at
yeah,
all.
exactly. But
Yeah,
regardless, the principle is the same.
it is.
And I loathe the American government. And if they are this much, they're going to radicalize people this much against somebody who is a moderate, exactly what he is,
Yeah, he
uh,
definitely is. Yeah.
then they got to go. And if the only weapons I have that can hurt them are voting for Donald Trump, then I'm going to
hmm
vote for Donald Trump.
Well, that's
Simple as that.
why I kind of titled today's show "Fake News,"
Yep.
because immediately, right? What did we see come out of the mainstream media, right? Did we see, oh, someone tried to kill Trump or assassination attempt? No, no, no. Trump was taken off stage for noises or everything but shooting. All of these,
Yep.
Washington Post, New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, all of these standard, suspects, right? They all of them covered it in a way that didn't make you feel that there was an assassination attempt on American president at all. Did you see those headlines, dude? Did you see that?
Oh, I seen them. I seen them.
Unfreaking believable. How, I mean, you people, right? And then when they did start talking about it, they're sitting up there and saying, basically blaming Trump for it. Well,
Yeah,
this shooter was a Trump supporter. He was a registered Republican, even though that's what Democrats do. Keep in mind,
correct.
Democrats register as Republicans all across America to skew polling. They do it intentionally, be an asshole, right? We know,
Yep.
and here's another thing. We got pictures of this kid are out now, right? This Crooks kid are out now. But when it happened, because my wife said Trump's been shot, and immediately we went over and looked at it, and it was literally it had just happened, right? It was within 30 minutes of it happening, right? And she went and within an hour, by the hour, the kid's name was already out there. Even though the government wasn't releasing it, his name was out there. His photo was out there. Another thing I saw, which I can't find now, I went looking for it to show it to you today. I can't find it. My wife found it, and she's not the savant of internet sleuthing. Just so you know. Um, but she found it immediately. There's a video of this kid sitting there talking about how much he hates Republicans. He hates Donald Trump, right? I saw that video a day ago, right?
Yep.
But it's gone now. I can't find it. So why? That's a little bit of important information, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Uh, one way or the other, if we'll ever. It's the what I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to get the Mandalay Bay treatment. Because remember, the largest shooting on American soil with actual injuries was in Las Vegas
It
a few years
was.
ago.
They
We
shut that
still
down.
have
Yeah.
no idea why that happened, what the guy's motive was, if he actually did it the way they say he did it. Nothing. They've released zero information. Zero. So I wouldn't be surprised if this gets the same treatment, unless Trump gets elected and maybe he starts making noise as president. Um, but other than that, yeah, I don't. I actually think they're going to do everything they can to just find the nearest rug and put whatever
And
they
sweep
can
it
under
under.
there.
Yeah, no, I imagine
Yep.
they will. But I did think it's interesting. I also saw a video of of course, as soon as you see this happen, we automatically know certain things. One,
Yep.
everybody around the kid knew, the person knew that they were trouble.
Yep.
It's always true. It's not, oh, the sweetest, nicest kid. It shocked me. No, I was like, oh yeah, he's a real troublemaker. Yeah, he's a weirdo. Every single time, everyone around the person knows their trouble, right? And two, not only do the people know, when you start looking, you find manifestos, you start finding all kinds of crazy rhetoric. And we know, since Bill Clinton put this in place, that the American government is monitoring everything you do on the internet. Understand this. It is put in by an executive order from Bill Clinton, and no president since, including Trump, has removed it because it's too juicy, right? That's too juicy to use. So they know every single actual real radical, they know who they are,
Yep.
right? This is two things
Of
that are
course they do.
always true. And of course, immediately, we're not even a day later, we are seeing exactly that. All the people around this kid knew he was trouble. We've seen a bunch of kids, his classmates, saying, "Yeah, he was a weird kid. He sat over in the corner all the time. He always wore like hunting gear, and people picked on him horribly. You know how kids are these days." I saw one kid said, and I was like, "You mean like they've been through the entire history of humanity? You mean that you know how kids are now? What? Kids are always assholes because they're
Right.
kids, right?
That's right.
So this is a bullied kid at school, got picked on by the Chads, who are probably very pro-Trump. We know how the young
Yep.
generation is. The boys are very, very conservative. The girls are becoming more and more radically progressive, right? We know what's going on. We can see all the data. And these boys, these Chad boys, these normal boys at school are very probably always going on about Trump and kind of spitting back and forth with the girls. And he hates the Chad boys because he can't get a girl. He can't get a friend. Therefore, who does he get angry with? The liberal girls? No, no. Get mad at the conservative boys, and therefore became a Trump hater, Republican hater, right?
Yep.
And I just want, I know I've been rattling here. I'm going to let you talk, but the last thing I also want to mention with these fucking news people, I swear to God, dude, we really need to they need a slap in the nose. They need a pop in the nose is
Yep.
what they need, right?
Yep.
And I mean that as in to bloody their nose is what I mean, YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But these assholes, the whole time they're saying, "Oh, it's Trump's fault," or not mentioning at all that there was assassination attempt. All the kind of nonsense they're going along. Do keep in mind we have one dead American, and several of them are injured.
That's right.
Did you see
The
any shit? I mean, the conservative news people were mentioning that, of course. But do you see any of this mainstream media assholes saying anything about the dead Americans? Any of them?
No, of course not. Especially not the gentleman uh, who his family, it sounds like his daughter, posted on her own social media account talking about what happened. She was there. Apparently, this guy was it was a retired fireman. Um, he was a fantastic father by all accounts, and literally threw himself on top of his family once he got hit to protect them.
Oh, sure. That's what you do.
He died an absolute hero. Period. End of story. And there's, of course, the media is going to pretend like he doesn't exist, and then liberals on the internet are calling him all sorts of terrible names.
Oh, I haven't even get into
Um,
that part of it.
this is why, Chester. I've started to see it now. Now you're really starting to see the calls for a national divorce. This is why I say we can't live with these people. It's just gonna eventually it's gonna get to the point where we just have to kill each other because
Well, that's what
somebody
history
just
shows
tried
us is what happens. Yeah.
somebody just tried to murder a presidential candidate right in front of God and everybody for the vitriolic lies that the media says about him and spreads about him. They've been grooming people into violence for over almost a decade now. Remember, Trump started his original campaign in 2015. We are in the middle of 2024. This has been 9 years of the media calling him Hitler,
Yeah.
the
When he
next
was
Hitler.
their
By the
darling
way,
before.
when he was literally president for 4 of them, and he was nothing about him was Hitlerian. He did nothing
Nothing.
Hitlerian at
No.
all. Um, these people have wanted this for a very, very long time, and they almost got it. They almost got what they want.
Right. Well, and of
Uh,
course that brings us to the absolute um, deluge. I'm going to use that word because it's
yep.
appropriate. The absolute deluge of people giving their opinion, which you know how I feel about that.
Yes.
On damn it, you had 6 shots and you couldn't hit one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
and this really shows you the difference between conservatives and progressives, because liberals are going to be more like us, really. I mean, they're more normal, because we're talking about progressives here, right? We do need to separate it. Ben's not here, but if Ben was here, we know he's our resident liberal, and we joke around about it. You're our local conservative. I'm the one stuck in the middle, right?
Mm.
But I'm sure Ben's sick to his stomach about this bullshit, right? Because he's normal
Well,
human. Nah, bullshit. Ben's not like
uh,
that. Um,
I hope not.
no, he's
He
not
didn't
that.
say much.
You
He
know,
only, he only, he only.
well, he might,
I
because
think he was
but
joking, but
I
he only
know
said
Ben.
something about that he thinks it was, or he didn't say he thinks this, but he said it looked like, a psyop or something like that. But he
Well,
probably was just joking because that's all he really
I
said.
know Ben though. He doesn't want anybody dead. But the difference between us and the progressives is if this happened to say Biden, right? We would
Yeah.
not be happy with the situation. Yeah, Biden's an idiot. You can say Obama or any of these other assholes, right? But I don't want anyone dead. I just want them removed from power, right? I mean,
Yeah.
vitriol aside, right? Um, you know, Conservative or normal people, we don't really truly wish death on someone, right?
Right.
But these progressives, they are violent. But then again, history shows us very, very clearly that when a progressive or a lefty doesn't get their way, they resort to violence
Yes.
every single time. This is what they do, right?
Yes.
We don't have examples really of conservatives doing that kind of thing. We don't. We have extremists do that kind of thing, which is why they're extreme, and conservative being, to conserve. It takes a lot
Right.
for a conservative to get to action, which is why we're in the
Correct.
situation we're in, right?
Yeah, that's part of the rub. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that is the
fine.
rub. Yeah.
I'm a full on radical when it comes to what needs to happen to these
Yeah,
politicians,
now, but 6 years ago you
bureaucrats.
weren't.
Well, yeah, 12 years ago. Let's go back a little farther.
But you know what I mean.
Uh,
'Cause you were.
but
It took a
regardless,
long time for it to get there, right?
yes, regardless, my point is the vast majority of people on the right are not. I saw somebody who put up some data. I could probably find it if I look for it, but it'd be hard to do now in the with all this stuff going on. That showed that more conservative people, more right wing people, are more compassionate. Man and woman, they have more compassion. They're kinder, compassion. They're kinder. They tend to be more agreeable, believe it or not. What they have, however, and why they are conservative and why they're right wing is because they have a very high disgust response, meaning, things bug them. They don't want to do this thing. They want things very just so. It's one of the reasons why I said for years, and I even said this to Ben, that I saw somebody make this claim like 20 years ago, and at first I didn't understand it, but as I get older now I do. They said that many progressives, if not most, are just conservatives in waiting. They haven't realized that they're conservative because they haven't found the thing they want to conserve yet. But they have the same personality profile. They just direct it towards different things. And what that means is that the disgust response is very, very high. The
Yeah.
difference is the conservative people typically are coming from a place of religious tolerance, which is true tolerance. And the lefty progressive people are coming from a place of intolerance. That's the difference. Now, I'm not saying there's not examples of it going extreme and whatever, and there are. But by and large, the data shows that the people who do the most donating to charity, conservative people, people who run the most charities, conservative people, like actual charities who are out there actually helping people, not fake ones that are just money laundering schemes. Uh, the people who tend to be your low-level public servants are often very conservative, like your janitors and things like that, your public ones. People who do like the maintenance, the lawn
Well, yeah,
care,
people
are
who have
very conservative.
families and responsibilities.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The people who are the caretakers tend to be your more right-wing people of society, of the things in society, the common.
Sure.
And the lefties tend to not have that. They're obviously a little bit more self-centered. They're definitely a lot less tolerant, a lot less easygoing, much harder to get along with. And I don't, and I'm, believe it or not, Chester, I'm incredibly easy to get along with. I can get along with
What?
literally, and I've gotten along with communists. I've gotten along with Muslims. I've gotten along with dyed-in-the-wool, full-on KKK members who literally asked me if I wanted to join. I just laughed at them because that's cringy. Uh, I get along with white nationalists. I get along with not Nazis. I can get along with anybody as long as I don't think you're lying to me.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning, if I believe you're an honest person, I can get along with you. If I get a hint, remember what I was saying before about honor? If I get a hint that you're a dishonorable person,
Hmm.
nope,
Nope.
don't care, don't want nothing to do with you, don't care about anything else. You're not
Looks
on
like
my side.
looks like the YouTube algorithm is centering our chat again. Oh, great.
Uh-oh.
That's great. Sorry, I was distracted there for a second. My wife came home from shopping, and she's breaking the house rule.
Yep.
She's dressed more Amish, but the house rule is Bo Derek. Less Amish, more Bo Derek. I'm giving her the stink eye. Hold on a second. Let's see if it worked. No, she gave it back. Damn it.
Yeah, no, it's anyway. My rant that rant it got off the rails there, but my point is, my overarching point that I'm getting to is you're starting to see now. You're starting to see it very clearly the difference.
Oh,
I
it's always been
understand.
there, but yeah,
I understand that for the people on my side, I'm a hardcore radical when it comes to what needs to happen
sure.
to the people in power. But most of them aren't like that, and I know that because I talk. Just like most liberals aren't like that. There's a lot of liberals out there today who were traumatized by what happened. I've seen them talk about
Of
it. Like this
course,
isn't. That's not right.
because they're
You
human.
can't. We can't have this.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you give up, you make a devil's bargain, and you give up part of that of yourself, that level of compassion, that baseline human compassion, to subscribe to an ideology or to subscribe to a result or whatever. Basically, when you radicalize, is what I'm saying. If you aren't aware that you've done it, you become a monster. That's the difference. The difference between somebody who knows what they're about and knows what they want, and somebody who, when something like this happens, they start attacking the innocent, the literal innocent victims, like Tory, whatever his last name is. I don't. It's some Italian name. Um, the gentleman who was shot and died. You start attacking him, calling him names, calling him a retard, calling him an idiot, calling him a traitor, like all this
What?
stuff.
What traitor? He's sitting under an
You're
American flag. What the hell? What?
you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah, these
There's no
people are
pulling you
bad.
back. You got to go. Those are the type of people who I'm okay with getting some form of reprisal. Is how I'll put it on YouTube.com. Because there's no excuse for that sort of behavior. You don't talk about people who did nothing wrong, who just happened to attend a political rally, as if they're monsters when
Well,
they literally gave up their life to
they've
protect the
been
people
doing
around them.
this
And
for a decade, dude. Longer,
yes,
really. But I mean, in our
yes,
face for a decade.
and
Eh,
he
eh, you
did
know,
that for his whole life. That was his career. He was a fire guy, like he was the fireman or whatever.
yeah,
So his whole career was self-sacrifice. His whole adult life, he sacrificed of himself for other people.
yeah.
You don't.
And
I don't care. No, you don't get to. You don't get to. You can go ahead and attack Trump. Trump can clearly take it. The man took a bullet and stood up and basically said, "Is that all you got, bitch?" Like he
but
can
he
take it.
did. But also he responded on his Truth Social instantly. I think he
Yeah.
was probably still in the car, right? Um,
Or to the plane, but yes, he
or
was
was
in
somewhere.
transit.
He was in transit,
Yeah.
and what he did mention, the I got shot and all that kind of stuff. But his first instinct was to think about the people who were harmed, who were there to
Yes.
support him. His first instinct,
Did you
right?
see the video? So one of the Fox News reporters, some black guy, I've never seen him before, some young black guy. He apparently got a hold of Trump. Actually called him, got a hold of him,
Yeah.
and he asked him. Trump didn't give an interview or anything, but this is what the guy said happened, and he just basically asked him, "Do you have anything you want to say to your supporters right now or to the country?" And all Trump said, according to this guy, all he could say is, "Just tell them I love them. That's it. Just tell them I love them all.
Yeah.
That's all I want them to know."
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. I don't care about your I'm not. I don't care about none of that. You know me. I don't care about Republican, Democrat. I don't give a shit. That is worth voting for.
Yeah. Right here.
That level of dignity,
Right here.
of poise.
And the thing also, we've said these things before. You can judge a man by the people around him, right? And we see
That's right.
how the absolute disaster that the Biden family is compared to the Trumps. They love their daddy. But to give you another really good, you could go find a video that somebody who was in the lobby of Trump Plaza took. You had Trump coming back. Looks like he's coming back from golf, which he does love his golf, right?
Yeah.
He owns several private golf clubs around the planet. Understand? Nice to be a billionaire. But anyway, he's coming back from golf. He's walking in the front of Trump Plaza, and his little teeny, that was what I was talking about earlier. His little teeny granddaughter. I mean, 3, maybe 4. Just comes running up to Grandpa. He grabs her up, and he's not Donald Trump at that moment. He's just Grandpa, right? And
That's right.
she's so excited to see Grandpa. She gives him a kiss. He talked to her. She's shaking her head, and just go watch that little video. Just somebody took that was standing in the lobby. It's not a staged photo. Right, it's just him coming back and his granddaughter running up to Grandpa and him just picking her up and being Grandpa. And then juxtapose that next to old Biden boy going near any young female and the absolute cringe that is vibrating off those little kids. Just
Yep.
open your damn eyes and take a look, right? But no, we don't want to talk about the cringiness of Grandpa, and he's gotten worse because he doesn't know where he is half the time, right? And I mean, the whole thing with the diary of his niece and taking showers with her, I guess it depends on the situation because I do live in Japan. And when I came here, because not just Japanese, people that aren't Americans are different than us, right? And there
Right.
is such thing as culture shock. And one of the culture shock I got here is kids under a certain age, is around 10, 12 is when they stop doing this, which makes sense. But they do they do bathe together. It's not
Yeah.
weird here. Matter of fact, you can see it in anime, you can see it on TV shows of a kid in the tub with daddy. Girl, boy, doesn't matter because it's cultural, right? So in that situation, there's nothing untoward happening. It's just normal. But Biden taking showers with his little niece, for an American, that is untoward.
Right.
It is untoward. I mean, if we were here, it wouldn't be. Well, they don't shower, they bathe. But I mean, it doesn't matter. If you were in a place that had that culture, oh, that's not a big deal, right? But that's not our culture. Matter of fact, we kind of turn our head sideways when we hear shit like that. I just told you guys that, and every one of you turned your head sideways thinking, that's weird. I get you. I felt the same way when I came here, and I never personally did it. Me. My wife did, but I mean I don't think that bothers us as much anyway. But
Right.
even though I could have, I didn't. You know why? Because I'm an American. And
Yep.
I ain't bathing with my little kids with me in the tub. I ain't doing it, right? Now I'm sure a lot of people around the world would find that statement sad, and fair enough. You can think it all you want, but I'm just saying, just juxtapose these two dudes, and how they interact with kids and how kids interact with them. I mean, we have to go back to really Bill Clinton to find a president that, because when they were reading Bill Clinton's statement about how he thought it was just awful, this attempt assassination of Trump, I know he meant that. Now you can hate Bill Clinton all you want, and he followed his orders and did what the deep state told him. He did, and he's not good when it comes to not little kids, women. He ain't good with that. We know he's pretty awful with women, but he's not a kill 'em all guy.
Yep.
It's just not his nature, right? But yet when we have Nancy Pelosi saying we need to not have violence, da, 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 do you believe a word of it?
No.
Hmm.
Not one bit.
Wasn't it
Uh.
his daughter, not his niece? It might have been Eric, but my point still stands. Just compare the two guys and how they interact with the world. He's a normal dude like most of us are. We protect children. We, try to do the right thing. There are moments when politics needs to be set aside, right? And this is something that the left, the progressives, I keep wanting to specify this, the progressives cannot do. They cannot set politic aside. They can't. Yesterday was a moment where politics need to be set aside, but they can't do it.
Yes. They can't. They won't, and they never will. Ever.
Yeah.
It's why the only solution, besides the bloodiest conflict in this continent's history, is a national divorce. I don't know exactly what it looks like. I don't have all those answers. I just know, just like if I walk in and I see a toilet, and that toilet is clogged, and that toilet is flooding over, and there's stuff going everywhere, I know that the solution is to unclog that toilet,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I might not know the whole functions of how to make that toilet not be clogged in that moment,
Mhm.
but that's the solution to the problem. The
Right.
only
Yeah.
solution to this problem now is we have to get away from each other.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. If
Well,
we do not, this is only going to get much worse. Much
yeah.
worse. Because
Well,
here's how
I'm surprised. These
here's how
things
we
usually
know.
unify us, but no, it didn't. It has not.
No,
Yeah,
it's over.
yeah.
The America we grew up in is gone. It's dead. They killed it. They did it on purpose, and it's.
Happily
I don't
so.
think it's
Yeah,
coming back. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
Maybe
think it's
not.
coming back. You
Well,
still have pockets of it, but not like
when
it was.
the toilet is overflowing, what I do is I sigh and I pick up the plunger and I get to it. My family runs around going, "Gah, ah, ah, ah." They do that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my fault. I take full responsibility. Of course, I never had that kind of situation. Japanese plumbing's amazing. But I have seen a centipede in the house, and my family literally screaming and running around in circles. I threw something heavy at my son, yelled at him, and went and picked up the centipede and put it outside. So the girls can scream and yell all they want. The boys not allowed.
Centipedes are nasty little things. You gotta be careful.
I guess when I was a
Uh,
kid, I used to play them all the time. But up in Rhode Island, where I mainly grew up, they are really small, and I didn't even know they had
right,
poison until I came to Asia. But then again, they have centipedes in Asia that are like a foot long,
right. Yeah, they're a
and
whole problem.
it's
Whole
it's
problem.
like wow. I've seen some that are as big around. I mean, as big around as a $50.
Yeah,
No, I ain't kidding you.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
things
no,
eat
it's a
mice,
shame. It's
literally
a
hunt mice.
shame that the communists, because let's stop pretending they're not. They're communists.
They are communist. Yeah.
You cannot talk them down, and we know this. We've watched 100 years of their bullshit. You cannot talk them down. The only way to to get rid of them is to literally get rid of them. Get them. You don't have to necessarily 86 them, but you have to get them away
No, to
from all
remove them from
mechanisms of
power.
power.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
remove
they
them from
have to be
power.
removed from all power. If they want to go off somewhere out west where nobody's at and make their own little happy little communist utopia, cool. Go ahead, but leave the rest of us out of it. Uh, this, if this country, whatever it even is anymore, is going to survive at all, the America that we knew, the idea, like the nation of an idea, is going to survive, we're going to have to excise these people from our political life. And the only way you're really going to be able to achieve that is a national political divorce.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
Well,
not a question of what I want to happen. It's a question of what must happen. Or
yeah,
it's just going to get so much worse.
yeah. Well,
So much
I'm
worse.
kind of curious what it's going to look like a week from now, because clearly the fake news, mainstream media, doesn't care. They're going to still keep you know shilling for the Democrats and just producing all this rhetoric. One of the things we've seen a lot from the Republicans, of course, but some Democrats as well, is we need to stop the rhetoric. This was caused by Democratic rhetoric. That was going around hardcore in the beginning. But of course, now CNN's trying to spin it. It's like, no, it's Trump's fault. There was a Republican trying to kill him
But
because he's, well, hold on a
here's what
second,
I want to know.
because he's not radical right enough. Even though for
That's right.
frickin' almost 10 years, the news is sitting here and tell us that he's radical right. He's far right. But yet now, when it's convenient, well, you're not. He's not far right enough. That's why the kid wanted to kill him. Isn't that convenient? How nice that is to live
Uh
in
huh.
that little fantasy world.
Yeah. Well, I still ask, and I've been asking, and I'll probably never get an answer because there isn't one because this hatred is not rational. What is it about Trump? What has he said? They keep saying it's his rhetoric, right? There's been people saying that. I've seen that too. His rhetoric escalates things. What rhetoric? What did he say?
Well,
Show me it.
yeah,
Point
I
it
don't
to
get
me. And
it either. I
don't
mean,
take a one sentence that he said at one point where he was being hyperbolic. Show it to me. Give me a 1 minute clip of him escalating a situation with violent rhetoric. Where's it at?
well, I can give you one if you'd like. He walked into a meeting, I think it was with Afghanistani leaders or Taliban leaders. He
Yes.
sat down and he says, "Yeah, we're going to have peace here, and everything's going to be good, and we're going to make a deal. And if you don't keep that deal, I'm going to kill you." And then show you a
Yeah,
picture of your house, satellite
that's
view.
the old school.
That
That's how
that's
you do it.
Is that an example? Does that work?
I mean, that would be an example, yes, but I
Yeah.
don't think anybody would be opposed
Yeah.
to that particular escalation
Once again,
verbally.
Chad
Uh,
move. I mean,
yeah,
yes, baby, right? Because that's what I would
that's how
do.
you do it.
That's exactly what
That's how
I
you
would
do it.
do. Just like you
Allegedly,
fuck with
I've
me,
heard
this is your entire life. I'm going to own it. All right, Kay?
I've
Okay?
heard that when he was president, he did the same thing to Putin as well.
He
He
probably
basically
did.
told him like listen, we can't have you invade. I understand the Ukraine situation. You can't invade them. If you do, this is going through your house. Drone strike, basically.
Right,
Um,
right, right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine it didn't happen. I know people, lefties especially, for some reason, think him and Putin are like butt buddies, whatever. But
Why?
they're not. I don't, because the media told them to. That's why.
This
That's
guy
it.
is
That's it.
so he this Trump is very similar to my generation, right?
Yeah,
Look at him hugging the flag. He's doing it for a photo op, but this guy is American through and through. This guy,
correct.
right? He's
Think he
not
likes
like
Russia?
the Democrats who constantly want to make deals with the communists, right?
Think about it for a second. He grew up his entire young adult life was the Cold War. You
Hmm.
think he likes Russia? Like he just
No.
secretly the whole time he was secretly a pinko, is what you'd have to believe.
Yeah, yeah.
This
It's
whole time
ridiculous.
Trump was
It's
a
ridiculous.
pinko.
Oh, by the way, Um, he has done it. He and Melania have done a good job keeping their young boy out of the press. I think they've done a good job. And for the
Yes.
most part, most press do kind of respect, leave the kids out of it. For the most part, you
Right.
get some assholes, but in general, they've kind of left Barron alone, as you should. Just
Yes.
like with Chelsea and the Obama kids and stuff, leave the kids out of it, right? But
Correct.
Barron is now 18. He's going to New York University, I guess.
To
And
Chad.
I guess I've never heard him speak. But Daddy did introduce him at a rally. He stood up and pumped his fist. He is literally an Anunnaki.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
He's
a giant man.
how
He's a
tall is
Nephilim.
that kid?
They say he's only like 6'7", but I would believe he's got to be almost 7 feet. He towers over his dad, and his dad's 6'2".
Yeah,
Towers over him.
because I have been in the room with Trump before. Of course, this is nearly 40 years ago. But
Yeah.
well, 35 years ago. And he was about my height, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's about
But
6'2",
that
6'3",
kid,
somewhere in there.
geez, I'd have to look up to that kid.
Yeah. And he has Chester. Listen, I know people pretend that physiognomy isn't real. I get it. You can't look at somebody and tell whether or not they're X, Y, or Z type of person, allegedly, even though you absolutely can. But okay. Um, that dude has perfect aesthetics to be a ruler. If you would put him back in the high Middle Ages as the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire and made a bust of him, I'd be like, yep, that works. He looks like if aristocracy was a person, that's Baron Trump. Everything
Yeah, no,
about him,
he does have
from
that vibe. Yeah.
the
Well,
shape of his face, his build,
the height.
everything about the fact that allegedly he is incredibly intelligent, smarter even than his dad. Like him and his dad play chess together, and he beats him, and just stuff like that. Like these sorts of things. The kid, there's something. I don't know, man. If we were to ever have an American emperor, I think that's what he's going to look like. He's going to look very
Well,
similar to a Baron Trump.
I have a question for you in the chat. I'm kind of
Yep.
curious. Later today, the RNC is having their selection event, right? Of course, Trump is
Right.
going to be their nominee. That's already decided, but whatever. Now we don't know who his VP is. They've been kind of going on for back and forth who it's going to be, the black guy or the Indian guy or whatever, the girl or what have you. They keep going round and round and round who they think it's going to be. After this event here, what would you say to Trump coming up, walking on stage with his boy Junior, and nominating him as VP?
I would love everything about it.
Yeah, I kind of would.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Don
I
Jr. quite a bit.
he either needs to just go the full Nepo route, or he needs to get somebody they're more afraid of than just as insurance,
Yeah.
right? just as insurance. So, because last time what he did, and this was actually probably smart at the time, he went with basically an unknown, right? With Pence, people don't really know who Pence
Right,
was.
right, right. They do
Uh,
that a lot. That's quite common.
yeah, yeah, and it keeps them from being overshadowed and blah 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 blah. Okay, fine. The problem is nobody at all in the world in the history of humanity has been scared of Mike Pence. It's just that person doesn't exist.
Which is why he was
So
chosen. I mean,
yes, but this time, these are different. This is a different game we're
that's what I
playing here,
mean.
Donald.
Because he survived an assassination attempt, his chances of winning just went up 25%.
Right.
And I'm just kind of, it's an opportunity. Put Don next to
Yes.
you. Because to be fair, I know some people aren't going to like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I like Don Jr. way more than I like his dad.
Really.
Way more. Oh yeah. Because Don is literally my age. He thinks like me. He speaks like me. He's very, very similar to me. And if I want someone in the White House, well, shit, it should be me.
Well, come back and run, Chester. Let's get you going. They couldn't handle you. They think Trump's bad. Get you
Oh
out
no,
there with some of the
yeah,
things
you
you
don't want
say.
to, you don't want to deal with my world politics, my international savvy, because well, then again, I would be very similar to Trump. I mean, basically,
Yeah.
bang these frickin' countries in the goddamn head where the United States of America do what we say or face the frickin' consequences. It's very
Yep.
simple. And I know a lot of people get upset about that kind of stuff, and that's why we're where we are. Because you get these
Correct.
people saying, no, we got to be nice to the criminal. No, we have to have world peace and happy globalism. Fuck no. When America's in charge and America's saying get in line or get fucked up, things were better.
Yes.
Very, very
Correct.
simply, they were better. And of course, there's a lot of that needs to have an actual America and a leadership that actually cares about a better world. And we've had it,
Right.
but we ain't got that now. This government don't give a shit about anything other than money, 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 money.
Right.
There's so, like, for instance, another thing that pisses me off that I don't think Don will do it, but that needs to be done is there are many examples of the federal government sticking their freaking nose into the state as if they own this country, right? And of course they
Correct.
don't. Keep in mind, we are a Republican, constitutional republic, right? We are not a democracy. The federal government is not in charge of the country. It is not, right?
Correct.
And you have examples of them running power lines, freeways, solar farms, wind farms, all this kind of stuff, just seizing land from states and doing whatever the hell they want to do with fair movement and easements and all that kind of nonsense, as if the federal government has a right to do that. What the hell's going on? These states need to stand up and tell the federal government to get the hell out. They don't have that authority. This is not
Correct.
Germany. This is not Russia. Well, Russia isn't like that anyway. It's not Japan. America has 50 independent states, countries, but the federal government
Yes.
goes around acting like they own it all. And of course, they do because we let them.
That's
So, yeah, if
correct.
I were in charge, things would be different,
Yep.
and I'd be dead within 7.5 days.
You want to know? I saw this recently. Somebody did a little breakdown on the income tax in the United States of America,
Oh,
and
it's
how that's
insane.
actually
It's
divvied
insane.
up. So apparently, about 50 to 55% of the populace only has around 3% total of the wealth in the country.
Roger doesn't like
The
what I said.
upper echelons of the country, the higher classes, upper middle class, and obviously the upper class, hold basically all of the rest of the wealth, right, in the country. However, the people that are making, and if we're being completely honest, the number should be $120,000 jointly, like for a household a year. Less than that are still getting taxed
Of course.
on their income,
Of course.
X amount.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of those people, about half those people, are getting basically no taxation at all because if they just file their tax return, they get it all back, or they have kids, so they get the tax credit and they get extra money and blah blah blah. So they end up actually in the hole when it comes to tax, even though they don't owe it because of the way the system's set up. My point is, you're telling me 3% of the world of the country's wealth, the richest country in the world, alleged 3% of the country's wealth, is in the hands of around 50%, the bottom 50% of the people. Yet that bottom 50% of the people are still being taxed, still having their money
Oh,
drawn,
and all manner
all of
of
this stuff.
levels in different places. The level of
Yeah,
taxation is insane. Yeah.
the income tax for anybody in that 3% of wealth, which is 50% of the country, so stay with me on the number, that's about 150, 200 million people, are only have about three, combined, have about 3% of the total wealth in America. Yet they're still being taxed on their income. They're being taxed for what is literally a drop in the bucket of what is drawn in the money that's in this country.
Every little
There is
penny, dude.
no reason that that can be justified.
No, and
There's
keep
no way to justify it.
keep in mind the corporations today are making higher dividends,
That's
better
right.
returns than the frickin' train barons of the 19th century.
Yes.
Understand this, right?
The
It's all about penny pinching. And a couple things. Maple Chic suggests 50 cent for VP. Cool. Roger is absolutely a bleeding heart liberal. You missed my caveat. Um, go ahead, continue.
uh, the bottom 50% of this. I remember when Mitt Romney said 48% of the country doesn't pay taxes or something like that back in the day, and everybody got all mad at him. Uh, Even though that's technically true, because with once you get your tax return and stuff, you effectively paid 0% tax or none.
Mhm.
The problem with even collecting the money on any household making less than $120,000 a year, their income tax, it's so minuscule of an amount when you put it in the big till that by the time you pay the IRS agents to process it, you pay all of the people to deliver any mail that might need to be delivered,
Mhm.
you pay the people to run the power lines and run the servers and all of these things so you can file electronically. By the time you pay these multiple organizations to handle this collection, collation, and enforcement, you are net negative. You
Well,
have to be.
well, what do
You
you
have
think?
to
Well,
be.
why do you think we're sitting at $24 trillion in debt, dude? It's
Why
not just their
the
spending. It's not.
fuck is anyone okay with that bottom percentage of people getting taxed? You can make an argument to get rid of income tax entirely, sure, and I agree with you.
We should.
But but definitely the people who are them paying it is more expensive than if we just had them sign a form and be like, yeah, I only made this much, I don't know. Okay. That would be way faster. It would take 10 seconds to collate in a computer program all the people. And then you would have a few agents who go through and maybe, every once in a while they check to make sure you're not lying. Okay, fine. But regardless, my point is there is no reason most Americans should pay a single cent in federal income tax at
No.
all. There's
Well,
no
and
practical reason, there's no financial reason, there's barely a legal reason. It is a scam, it is a Ponzi scheme, and it is a racket. Trump just nearly got,
mhm,
right? One of
yeah.
his original platform ideas back in 2015, which good luck trying to find it now because they have scrubbed the shit out of that off the internet, was to end the income tax for the lowest earners. Basically,
Right.
if you were somebody who takes the standard deduction, which is the lowest bracket, you take that standard deduction, you just say I'm taking the standard deduction, and you owe nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
They don't.
Well.
You're done.
Well. No. What we need to do is go back to the way we set it up. The federal government should
Yep.
be absolutely stripped of nearly every department it has.
Correct.
This is state responsibility. If the state wants to tax its people, it can pass those laws, and the people
Right.
can speak. That's the end of it. And I'm being hyperbolic, Roger. Relax. Um, Obviously, I've said here equally as well, Roger, that America's bullying around the world is a big part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I know that. But I do know back in the day when America was actually trying to arrange the world into a successful marketplace, things were better.
Yep.
They were. We're not in a
Yeah,
better
no doubt.
place now. That's for damn sure. But anyway, let me cover a couple other things. The main thing we have here is, Trump survived it. The media is gonna. It's not. I guarantee you by tomorrow, the mainstream media isn't even going to be talking about it, right? Um, because who cares, right? But there are a couple other things I do want to cover, so let me do those before I don't get to it. So you know, yeah, let me do that. All right.
Let's do it.
So we got our boy Trump here, and of course, I do have two obituaries today that need to be mentioned. One is this lady. Now, I know for you younger folks that when you see this lady right here, you wouldn't imagine that she was a world famous sex therapist. I know. It doesn't. She doesn't scream sex therapy. I get it, right? But she was. She was very, very popular in the 70s, especially in the 80s, a little bit in the 90s. Her name is Dr. Ruth Weisheimer or Weinheimer or something like that, some Jewish German name. But Dr. Ruth, of course, was a very famous lady, and she died yesterday, 96. Same day Trump got shot at.
Crazy.
96 years old. So, safe journeys. I know a lot of people here probably don't know who she is, but she was a sweet old lady that get on the talk shows and talk with people. And because she's talking about sex stuff, it was kind of funny. And if I do recall, she did have a German accent. So I think she was an immigrant as well. Matter of fact, who knows? Well, she might have been a Holocaust survivor, but I don't really recall that. I had a teacher that was a Holocaust survivor. She actually had the number tattoo on her arm.
Interesting.
Yeah, she never talked about it, but I recognized it when she gave me one of my graded papers back. I recognized
Hmm.
it, what it was. But anyway, safe journeys. She was a nice old lady. Another person
Yep.
who I know this is a little bit more controversial died 20 years younger, even though he was a health guru. 76 years old. We've lost Richard Simmons.
Old Richie Poo.
Now I get it. He's gay, dude. Some people really don't like that. Me personally, I don't care. I kind of am of the thought that people should be free to do what they want in that regard, but you also have a right not to be around or assailed by gay people. I agree, right?
Yep.
We can agree to be together, or we can agree not to be together. I think both those things are true, right? So other that aside, because I know there's some people that hate him for that, but this is a sincerely sweet human, a good man. I've never heard a bad thing about him in my entire life. He really cares. This is a dude who actually cares about people, right? Actually cared
Right.
about people. And he was very vibrant and very, very flamboyant. Let's say that. But he was all about health and people getting in shape and sweating away the oldies, or the oldies sweating to the oldies, something like that. But nevertheless, for as far as everything I know, a really good man. And we lost him yesterday as well. So
Yep.
see what you did, Donald. Yeah, you challenged the universe and went and survived, and it cost us two celebrities. Okay, too
Yep.
soon.
He
Too
did
soon.
it. He did it. He defied fate,
He did, and
and
they
that was
had
the
they and
that was the alchemical
it
exchange
was
that he made.
that's right. These we lost these two because of it. All right, fine. But all joking
Listen, that's
aside,
a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
yeah, that's fine.
Terrible.
But I mean, come on, let's be fair. Richard was an interesting character, but from all accounts, he's a really good man. He
No,
really,
he was a good
he
dude.
really
He
liked.
was a sweetheart.
He wanted to help people. He's a sweetheart. He's a good guy. And I'm not going to put him in Mister Rogers level because
Extraordinarily homosexual,
Oh
but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's all right. See, back in the 70s and 80s, our gays, no one cared, right? I
Yep.
mean, honestly, I never met anyone who really cared. They keep telling me there's some people that want to hunt and kill them. It's like I haven't ever met one of these people, and I probably wouldn't like him if I did. However, back in that day, it was like we just didn't really talk about it. Like, oh yeah, yeah, like Rip Taylor, or I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, right? That were very flamboyant, and yeah, okay, yeah, they're gay. Who cares? It was their thing, right? And if you want to see some hilarity, go watch Rip Taylor on the Gong Show. Wow. Now, and another thing about the Gong Show is it's a California show, and it was kind of a low budget thing that just hit. But you want to go see some early 70s liberalism? Go check that out. The Gong Show
Yep.
was super liberal, dude. Crazy ass shit. But Rip Taylor was on there, and he was quite funny. But I'm just saying, there we have many examples, and no one really cared. Richard as well. It never came up. But because this guy was so exuberant, so happy, so serious about you getting in shape. And the funniest one for me was because you got to remember, I think it was Reagan that made Arnold Schwarzenegger America's fitness guru, right? He was the official fitness something or another of the American government. Well, official, unofficial. And I remember there was some event or something I saw on TV that had Arnold up there. I'm pretty sure Reagan and Bush were there and some other politics, but Richard Simmons came out doing his shtick, right? And he actually got Arnold Schwarzenegger dancing with him, you know, sweating to the oldies. And if you want to see something hilarious, go find that clip and watch Arnold Schwarzenegger try to dance because wow, wow, it's bad, dude. Arnold cannot dance. It should be illegal for him to do that. It's
Yep.
radically bad, but it was hilarious and it was all in good fun. And that's the thing that is missing from today. Fun. Where's the frickin' fun, man? We used to have fun. Sure, politics is politics, but I mean, let's have some fun as well, right? But where's the damn fun? I mean, everyone's so goddamn pissed off all the time these days, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because we're all in a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you've ever been in a bad relationship, that's what happens. There's no
Dumb's
more
the name.
fun.
Yeah, she has. Yeah.
Yeah, it's constant strife, constant struggle. It's turmoil. That's literally what the world means. Or world. The word means turmoil, and that's what we're living in. We're living in
Yeah.
constant turmoil because we know deep down in our hearts, most Americans, I think, know the truth. The truth is we can't live together anymore.
It seems so.
This is
Yeah.
this we can't fix it. There's no coming back. These are irreconcilable differences, and the only solution is to get away from each other. It's just like you tell two married people if it's truly at the point where there's no fixing it, then you just need to separate. And maybe
Yeah.
it can be fixed later once a little separation happens and wounds heal and that kind of shit.
And she
Maybe
takes
that
all
can
your money.
happen.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But first, you got to separate. And that's what needs to happen now. But
It
it's not
seems so.
going to until enough people realize that this is an untenable situation. There is no fit. You're not going to rationalize people out of hating Donald Trump, which means you're not going to rationalize them out of hating you.
Yeah.
Because Donald Trump is a world famous man long before he was president. Everybody knows who he is. He's a father, a grandfather. He's got multiple children, multiple grandchildren. He is still a human person, right? And these people don't care. They are so upset that Trump did not get killed yesterday, and they're very happy. I was just looking at it while you were talking about that. They are very, very happy that that Trump supporter got killed. They're happy.
Yeah,
They're
no, it's
joyful at it.
really creepy, dude. It's super creepy.
Yeah,
And
it's not good.
Roger, in 1913, America was shit. I'd go with 1953, personally. Um, are we spatting, Roger? I love you.
You've angered him, Chester.
I
No, I
guess.
think YouTube pissed him off, and he's on edge now because they
No,
were
that's cool.
doing
I
their
understand.
bullshit. Yeah, YouTube, you do bullshit. Stop censoring people for no reason. Knock it off.
Yeah, I'm a YouTube personality.
That's right.
I'm hyperbolic. It's my job.
You know.
No, no, I don't say anything controversial ever. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that up because I know the younger people don't know who they are, but She and Dumb's the name's correct. She was in a few movies. She was just a sweet old lady that talked about sex and made everybody uncomfortable. It was great.
Yeah.
Dr. Ruth here, and of course Richard was just a bright beam of sunshine. And I saw Pauly Shore do a little short about Richard here recently, past few months, and it was very nice. It was endearing and sweet. So Pauly actually did something worth watching. Go watch it.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty nice. It was sweet. I love you too, Jess. Oh, thank you, Roger. But let's get into what we normally talk about here for a second.
Oh boy. Yeah. Listen. Listen.
You got to read the headline.
Watch Captain America. Why is there two? Why is there two colons?
They don't ask grammar questions.
Captain America: Brave New World. There's three. What is happening?
I know.
Trailer: Red Hulk. That's not how English works, people.
Yeah.
That is not how you do it.
Watch.
It's just not. It's just not. Yes, you could have
Captain
easily
America.
just put an exclamation right there.
Brave New World trailer.
Red Hulk and then another exclamation point. Yeah. The point of Red Hulk Smith. You didn't need colons. I don't. Do we need to go back to like third grade and learn basic punctuation again? Is that what's going on here?
I think so. Now, did you? I like that though. I do like that though.
That's a cool image. Yeah.
Even though even
the
Red Hulk is not strong enough to do the denting of the shield, but whatever.
No.
Have you seen this? I'm just going to.
I have. It's actually a good trailer.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It seems, of course, who knows, but all the other outings of Anthony Mackie here as Captain America, he's basically lecturing the white people, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that in here. Harrison Ford is clearly Thunderbolt Ross. He even makes a joke about losing the mustache because Harrison wouldn't grow or wear one because he's a prima donna. It's got the dude who's dead there from Breaking Bad, who is a pretty good actor. I don't know. We'll see. We all those comic book guys having Falcon take over Captain America makes perfect canonical sense. We know this. So that wasn't a problem for me. Of course, they did try to woke it up, which is what they do. But this trailer in general, I was like, maybe. What'd you think?
The trailer's really good. It's the best trailer that I've seen in a very long time, actually, because it gives you a lot, but it doesn't give you anything at the same time, except right at the end, which it's about to get to, which I really, really, really wish they had not done. They should have just did a roar. They shouldn't have shown any skin. We shouldn't have known it was Red Hulk. But now we know he's in this movie.
Well,
and that's a problem. They shouldn't have did that.
The trailer makers aren't what they used to be. We just talked about the Abigail movie a lot too long ago, and it's a fun little vampire movie. It's got a touch of woke in it, but it's not that bad. It's a fun little movie. Go watch it. But don't watch the trailer because it ruins the entire movie, as does the poster. It's like, you should have had just a pretty little girl in a ballerina outfit, and that's that, right? That's what they should have done. But I don't know. I don't trust Hollywood whatsoever. This, of course, is Disney. Don't trust them even a little bit. But it looks like it might be just normal.
It looks like a good movie. Looks like just a good little superhero movie.
And the Cap movies are always the best, right?
Typically, because they're the most down to earth, right? You don't have to do anything too crazy with Captain America for it to work. And I think it's just easier to handle than some of the more outlandish shit that you get in with some of the other people. But we will see. The problem with Anthony Mackie is Anthony Mackie. I actually like Anthony Mackie as a person.
He's boring.
He seems like a boring but good dude. And I remember about 10 years ago or so, he was on some talk show, and they were talking about basically roles in a relationship, and the lady asks, so if you tell if you're in a relationship and you want your woman to make you a sandwich, and you say, hey, go make me a sandwich, and she doesn't do it, then what? And he's like, well, you better get your ass in there and make daddy a sandwich. That's what he said. Like, that's the kind of stuff you don't get to say nowadays, but he's been about, pretty much straightforward with that kind of stuff for a very long time.
Yeah.
So
I get the trope, or I guess these days meme of that. But in reality, you should never have to ask for the sandwich.
It's true.
That's the reality of it. If you're in a proper relationship and the wife is the one that makes the sandwiches, then sandwiches should be arriving timely, in a timely fashion.
A timely manner, the
Yes,
sandwiches shall arrive.
they shall arrive.
Um,
I mean, you know what I mean, though, right?
yeah.
That people missing the point with that. You should never ever have to ask for the sandwich. My wife is constantly trying to put food down my gullet, dude. Constantly.
Well, she's afraid if you don't get fat again that you're gonna run off with some old lady.
Well, that's I
They're
guess
all over you, I hear.
they
That's what I
are.
hear.
Yeah. But the dude, they don't even care if she's there.
Yeah, yeah,
Women do.
that's a problem.
Um,
They don't
uh,
care. No.
but what they don't understand is that is way too much work for me. I'm way too lazy for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't got time.
Yeah, I ain't got
I don't
time for
got
that
time.
shit.
I don't.
But nevertheless, but she's constantly saying, "You want this? You want this?" I'm always having to say, "No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you." But
Yeah.
in all honesty, she's just being a mom. And the kids
Right.
complain about it too because she's constantly trying to throw food down their gullet every time they're near because she's mom.
See, see, it's funny because I went out to dinner with somebody tonight, and she had said, I'm not going to say who, but she had said that she was raised in a household that was very stingy, that her parents were kind of like mooches and stuff. And I obviously wasn't raised that way. I was raised by my parents were both the children of Great Depression era people. So when it came to food, especially, there was an abundance. It didn't matter who you were.
Hmm.
It didn't matter, if one of your kid, they were one of our friends, like their kids' friends or whatever. You hungry? You eat? You ate something today? You need to eat?
Yep.
Well, go get some food. Go get
Yep.
this. Da, 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 da. It didn't matter. It wasn't even a question. Like it wasn't none of this. Oh, we paid for that food. Yeah, yeah. Yes, obviously that's how the food got here. What are you bitching about? The kid's hungry. Give him some damn food.
Yeah.
Like
No.
I was raised in an environment where all of my house was the place where everybody came to eat. Everybody. All my friends would come over, and my father, because he was raised by his parents who were Great Depression parents who were the same way, he would make sure that they had stuff to eat.
Mhm.
Right? He would make sure he bought extra of whatever, chips or fruit or whatever, so that when they came over, there was food for them to eat. Because he didn't want them to leave hungry. Right? He didn't want anybody to leave his
Right.
house hungry if he could avoid it.
Must be
And
nice.
that's how
I
I was
didn't have
raised from all of
friends.
my family. Well, I can believe that. No. From all of my family, it was kind of the same way. My grandfather he was one of these guys from that World War II generation. They just impacted people so much around them that they didn't even realize they were just doing what they do. They didn't realize that they had this effect. So my uncles were all this way. Even like he basically took in a man who effectively completely became my uncle later, but who was treated like my uncle for most of my life. And he was the same way. My Uncle Ned. You couldn't go to Uncle Ned's house and get out of there without eating. It didn't matter if you were hungry.
Yeah.
Here, have some eggs. I'll
A
make you
lot
some
of
eggs real quick.
a lot of
No, what
people are
eggs?
a lot of
No,
people
no,
are
you're
like
having
that.
eggs.
Yeah, a lot of people
My
like that.
point is,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who aren't though. There's a lot of people, and I had a couple friends like this growing up, where I went over to their house and there was some chips, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna get some chips." Is that okay? Oh no, you can't have chips. Like, why can't I have some chips? You got like 3 bags of chips. Why can't I have some? No, no, that's not for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
My mother was
all
like that.
right.
I
Like
mean,
what?
I've
Who's it
never,
for?
as a kid, I never had anyone over to my house ever, ever.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Yeah, never. I went over other people's houses, but
Right.
no one ever came back to my house. But my mother is exactly what you're talking about. Literally, there
Yep.
were many things in the refrigerator we were not allowed to touch.
Yeah, it's
Now,
outrageous.
my wife does not even understand the concept of that,
Yes.
right?
Me neither. I don't either.
I told you the strawberry story, right?
I believe so, but go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, my mother came over to visit. She was on vacation, but it just happened to coincide with my daughter being diagnosed with leukemia, and
Right.
my son supposedly being born, but she's kind of stressing, and 2 weeks and went by, and we had to induce. But this is during that moment, right? So
Right.
I got a cancer-ridden kid. I got a brand new baby in the house. But she's on vacation, you see, right? And she
Right.
went across. I was living in Queen Emma, in Hawaii, which is a beautiful little place. Right across the street is a Safeway, and she went and got stuff. My mother got some strawberries, and brought them back. And my little cancer kid, who was losing all her hair, right, because of chemotherapy, went and can't eat nothing, can't keep nothing down. She loves strawberries, saw strawberries, ate a few, not all of them, just a few, and my mother
Yeah.
lost her shit. And my wife
Ugh,
was, and this happened whilst I was working, right? And my wife didn't know how to deal with it. And I said, you shouldn't
right.
have to know how to deal with that, right? But I mean,
No.
yeah, so these people are real. I know. I grew up with one.
Yeah.
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 It's just crazy to me because I'm not like I just it doesn't my brain doesn't work
Doesn't
that way. I
compute.
wouldn't
Yeah.
I wouldn't let somebody be in my house. First off, I'm gonna let you in my house. Then you're in my I've let you in, right? If you're in my house and I don't know you, that's a different story. But if I've let you in my house, if my child has brought you to my home, if I had a in that situation, then I'm responsible to make sure that at least very basic needs are met.
Right.
That's just the way I think about it. Like what? Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah.
You're in my domain here. Like it's just such I don't know I
It's
don't
weird.
understand it.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't comprehend thinking so stingily. Mine, 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 mine,
Yeah,
mine,
it
mine,
is
mine.
very
I
weird.
don't get it.
Luckily, I live in Japan, and that philosophy is just not here, which is a good thing. The older people pay.
Especially in America. We've
Yeah,
got
it's
everything.
weird.
We got
Yeah.
a lot of everything.
Well,
Too much of everything.
I mean,
Like
shit,
what?
man. I would take my son's high school rugby
Yep.
team out to
Yep.
eat.
Yep.
These are high school rugby boys. Do you have any idea how much food those boys eat?
Oh,
Uh,
I remember being a high school rapscallion.
yeah.
We ate a lot.
But here in Japan, the older people pay, and it's just part of the process.
Right.
But yeah, it is weird. Let's see. Mabel Sheik says he also talked about the Hollywood stars are dead, and it's about the character that you play in the movie now. That's true.
Yep.
Well, we still got a couple. Some draw like Tom Cruise still draws. S.E. Spider says same here, and not cleaning the plate was not an option. That's true.
That's
Regardless
right.
how full we were, we only left the table with a clean plate. That is true. Even when it was eggplant parmesan and you hate it, and I went 2 days and not eating it, but I had to sit every time I came home. I had to sit at the table in front of that damn eggplant parmesan. Um, but no, they were pretty serious. Now my wife doesn't have that philosophy at all. You don't have to eat any more than you
Well,
want. And my wife
it's not
often
healthy.
for dinner would actually make food individually for each person at the table, which is
Right.
unheard
Right.
of with my generation. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, we got that. So, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know if I trust Marvel at all, but at least it looks somewhat normal. Although, why do you have Harrison Ford? He's just a grumpy old man. Just let him kind of linger into his twilight time. I mean,
Well,
honestly,
it's kind of interesting because while I agree with you, I wish he would just chill. He's still kind of got it though. Like
he
he's still
does.
got
He's
presence
Harrison
like
Ford. Yeah,
crazy.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason up until very recently he was the most successful singular actor of all time. Like people don't understand. For some reason he gets undersold really hard. I don't
Hmm.
know why, but for most of my life he was the biggest draw in Hollywood history. Harrison Ford was. Um, Yet for some reason he's just like overlooked as one of those as that type of guy, and I think it's because he went out of the limelight for so long. But
You know what I mean. He's still
he's
he's still
still
Harrison Ford. He's just grumpy.
yeah,
Alan
he's a
says Gary
grumpy old man.
Oldman and Willem Dafoe still draw me. Yeah, of course they do.
Yep.
Leonardo DiCaprio also draws me like a French girl, one of his French girls. That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, is Leonardo
I'll tell you,
wrong? Is he wrong though?
no, fuck that. Why would you? If you're in his position, why would you saddle yourself with some old hag?
Right. I mean, if you fall in love, you fall in love, right? But
Yeah,
if
that's
you're just
fine. But
simply
if you're
functioning,
just having
having a
fun,
female in the house, I mean,
yeah.
all right.
Well, and everybody, he needs to get married. I
No.
mean, maybe spiritually, religiously, sure, but he's not a spiritual or religious person. So
Yeah. And clearly
what do you
he
want?
hasn't found love yet. Obviously. I mean, because
Yes.
if he had, he'd been married, right? But
Yep.
he's not, and he's older now, and he's probably kind of beyond it. And he just, keep a young girl around in the house, look pretty, take out, bang, and every now and then, I get it.
Yep.
I don't have a
And
problem with
I
it.
also get it. You're a guy with that kind of money, that
Yeah,
kind of influence.
yeah,
I've been saying for a while now that there's no benefit to wealthy men to be married. Like if you're a man who's a self-made, quote unquote, made your money, I unless you were already married when you made the money, I really don't
le-
have an argument other than like
right,
morality for why you should ever
right.
engage in a legal marriage. I
Yeah,
don't
be
have an
like
argument
Elon,
for it.
just make lots of babies.
Yep, just make babies, pay for them, rock out.
Yep.
Uh, because I just don't see, unless of course, I mean, if you fall in love, that's one thing, but I just don't see a good argument for signing yourself up to lose half your shit. Look at Jeff Bezos. He lost half of his wealth to his wife.
That's funny.
He lost something like
He
$60
did.
billion dollars,
Yeah,
something like that.
but was he married to her before that
Yes.
Amazon took off?
Yep. She
Well,
had been
there you
with him
go.
since day one.
There you
Yep.
go. Well, there
And
you
she
go.
was a good looking woman, especially for a woman in her 50s. I'm like, bruh, what are we doing here? Was she a shrew? Is that what's going on? Like she was just
Did he divorce
miserable to be
her or did
around?
she divorce him?
He cheated on her, and she divorced
Oh,
him.
oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he cheated on her with some Latina girl. So,
Whatever.
and about the same age too. She's not a She's not. It's not like it was some young girl. It was just. I'd imagine she's just easier to get along with.
Well, she
Yeah, I'm gonna
became
be
instantly
completely honest.
rich, but if she's been there from day one, she might well have been involved in his success. Not necessarily, but she might well have been.
I'm
Um,
not even necessarily against her getting, getting paid. Especially like you said, she's been there from day one, and he did break the rules.
he broke the vow.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not necessarily against it. It's just at the end of the day, like I don't understand why anybody in a position like his, like say you weren't already married, why you would put yourself in that liability
Especially
in
these
America.
days. Especially these
Yeah,
days. Yeah.
there's just no benefit to it
Yeah. Getting
pragmatically.
stuck with a prude is a nightmare. Sure. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do it.
SE Spider says, Harrison Ford sort of comes off as the cool stranger in an old Western. True. You don't know what to do with him, nor how he would react. Yeah, no, Harrison does what he does well. He does. He's just a
Yeah.
grumpy old dude. That's all
The
I'm
thing
saying.
that annoys me, like I was saying, is that they showed Red Hulk at all.
They shouldn't
That they
have.
showed
You're
him.
right, like a
They
roar or
shouldn't have
something.
done
Yeah.
that. They
Because
could have easily just had the shield thrown down and you not see by who and hear a roar. That's all you would have needed. You didn't need to actually see the Hulk in the picture, the shot.
okay,
But no, that trailer was surprisingly. I even said it when I first saw it. I said, "Whoa, that was actually a really good trailer."
yeah,
That's the first one Disney's put out in a long time that I was like, "Huh,
they
that
do
was pretty
have
good."
a canonical problem though. There's no
Oh
way that Captain Falcon, can beat Red Hulk.
no,
It's
no,
impossible. It's impossible.
it's not.
To be honest,
Unless
Steve
they
Rogers
give
even
him
doing
a
it would be impossible.
serious power up in this movie, there's no way. Uh, and it's the problem with making Falcon Captain America. One, he doesn't have the serum in him. Like,
No, he
yes,
doesn't.
Steve Rogers is an incredible person without it, but he's a more incredible person with it. So he kind of needs it. Like, how is he throwing the shield around? How's he doing any of that without the serum?
Well, he
How's
wouldn't
that
be.
working?
He wouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, I'm all. It's all a little bit off topic, but I was also a little bit surprised because with Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, there are two storylines with her. You have the storyline they went with, where she's just simply a Russian spy that is defected. But the other storyline was she was one of the early first super serum, candidates before he defected and came over to America, right?
Right.
And I'm surprised they didn't go with that version because
Yeah.
she's not quite got the push that Steve has, but she's superhuman, right? I'm kind of surprised they
Right.
didn't do that. But then again, they really steered away from her having feelings for Steve and pushed her toward the Hulk, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever because the Hulk is 100% Betty Ross all the time. It's like these idiots with the Punisher giving him a love interest. Have you not read the books?
Right. That makes sense. Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't make any sense for the character at all. Anyway, let's take a look here. It looks like on the box office here, Despicable Me is making a little bit of money.
Yeah.
It's made a
Animation, man.
couple hundred million, but it's probably not broken even yet, though.
Animation's killing it this year, though. It's the only one
It
that's even
is.
remotely doing good.
Well,
Well,
no,
until
they do have
Wolverine.
all the assets. So maybe it is gotten a little cheaper here with the fourth one.
And a lot of these, because even like Kung Fu Panda 4 only had Kung Fu Panda 4 only had Jack Black in it, right? Like of
Right.
the main cast. So that saved them a lot of money
And
too.
he's cheap.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can't imagine that anybody in here is commanding a high salary. That's like not a
No,
crazy
but
high
the
one.
animation itself is expensive. But they do
Yeah,
have the assets. So it probably is cheaper than the initial one. It's kind of like when they did She-Hulk, which is a shame. That could have been a lot of fun. But they were able to put Mark Ruffalo in as the Hulk because they had the movie asset. And of course, that was also another problem because Hulk looked great. She didn't because they had the full-on AAA, high blockbuster money Hulk assets, right?
right.
But this movie franchise has all its assets set, so maybe it is cheaper. But whatever, they are fun, cute movies. My family enjoyed them. I haven't. I think I saw the last one. Maybe I doubt I'll see this one. But they are fun. And you're right, animation's killing it this year.
Yep,
Yeah.
good.
Now this is, of course, another lady agent trying to get a cult serial killer person. Okay.
Does she have long legs? Because if so, I might be interested.
I have a feeling it's somehow a reference to the serial killer. I did see
That's a
the
shame.
trailer for this, and it looked okay, fine. 22 million isn't great money, but for a low budget horror movie,
Yep.
you know,
It's
maybe.
this is also a movie that's going to be, a streaming type movie, right?
Immediately.
It's going to be out there
It
for a
probably
while.
already is.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I can probably find it real quick. Let me check here. Let me see if it's already up on the the finish. Yep, there it is.
There it is. We
There it
found it.
is. It's already up on streaming. Already. Yeah. Oh goodness gracious! What else we got up here that's already popped? We got Descendants: Rise of Red. I don't know that's B movie. Planet of the Apes is up. Garfield movie already up. The Bike Riders, whatever that is, vanished into the night. Inside Out already up. Although that's only a telesync. Twisters already up. Furiosa already up. Beverly Hills Cop already up. We watched that the other
Oh,
day. Have you seen that?
the new one? No. Is it
Yeah.
good?
It's fine. It's a normal movie. It's got, of course, they have to bring the girl in, his daughter, but at least it makes sense. And but I mean, it's tired though. It's tired. I mean, Eddie's tired. He can't do Axel properly anymore. He just doesn't have the animation in his body because he's older dude, thicker dude, right?
Right.
When he was young, you have his face was extremely animated. His body, he's just too old. Um, so I mean, it's fine though. It's worth watching if you got some nostalgia for it. But he's just too old. Um, but I mean, it is what it is. But when he was playing Dynamite, because he was playing an old, haggard guy, it worked, right? So yeah, no, I'm just looking at the database here. Everything is up. So
Excellent. Excellent.
yeah,
No, it's like even that Bike Riders movie's already on Amazon. So is I think even Inside Out. I swear I saw that on there. There's a bunch of them that they're. I mean, they come out in theaters. They're up on Amazon or one of them in 4 weeks in a month. Like, why am I going to go spend $50 to go watch it in a theater? A bunch of stinky, loud, annoying people when I can watch it at home on my big 60-inch screen, no problem. And it's the same price. It's not like the theater's cheaper or the getting it here is cheaper. It's the same price. So why would I bother?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and these things come up really quickly these days. I've been using the Finnish databases for a very long time because I live in Japan, and it's only recently we got proper VPNs. Right, I was using kind of pseudo VPNs long time ago, trying to deal with my situation living overseas, and the Finnish database has always been very useful, but the Finnish database, I mean, you can on some of those you can find cam and telesync deliveries, which I never watch because one, they're horrible, and two, let it make its money, right? But for most of them, it's just when something comes on a Blu-ray, it shows up on the database, right? And
Right.
I mean, way back when, I mean, like Finding Nemo, what was that? 15 years ago? More,
15 or 20. Yeah,
17 years
somewhere
ago,
there.
but a long time ago. That took a year and a half to show up on the database, right?
Sheesh.
But these days, within a week or two, they're showing up, which means they're dropping on Blu-ray or on a streaming service like immediately,
Yep.
right? So yeah, but Alan says he's hearing Long Leg sucks. The premise is not interesting. I mean, it's just not interesting. But it making a little bit of money. A Quiet Place. Ooh. Well, it's made $100 million. I don't know if that's its money back. It probably is. But yeah, this is the third one of these, right? I haven't watched any of these.
Yeah, I believe third or fourth. Yeah. Um, I haven't watched any of them either. I hear this one's actually good, but I have no idea.
It might be. I have heard all of them are good. This I do find interesting. That is clearly an African woman. I don't mean black woman. I mean African woman. Clearly an
Yeah.
African woman, but yet a young woman named Sam. What? Wouldn't her name be
uh,
like Shaniqua or something like that?
so you would think,
Yeah.
right? Would think.
Yeah, I mean because she's a African, right?
Right.
And so why is her name Sam? But whatever. This series seems to be popular. I never watched it for some reason. I don't know why. No idea.
Huh.
But it's probably made its money back. Yeah, $100 million probably.
I imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine the budget was too much higher.
Yeah. Fly Me to the Moon didn't do so well.
Oh,
What
this
is
bombed hard.
what is this?
This had this had an estimated $100 million budget. By the way,
What in the hell is this movie?
some rom com with Black Widow and Channing Tatum.
We got Channing Tatum and we got why she's my age. What the hell is this rom-com crap?
They've been doing that stuff lately too. He's been doing a lot of with the older popular women. He because he did one just a couple years ago
I
with
do remember that one.
Sandra Bullock as well, where
Yeah,
they were
well,
even though she's like he's only in his early 40s, she's like he's old enough almost to be his mother.
yeah, no, that's
Uh,
true. Channing, he got to make money where he can. I ain't got no, I got nothing but love for Channing.
I've never understood why he's not a bigger star than. To be honest, never. I don't get it. Women love him. He's a fine actor. He doesn't there's nothing offensive about his performances. I don't get it. Hollywood just don't like him, and that's really all it takes.
Mm. Yeah, no, I never. I think it's his ears.
Could be.
Damn, she's getting she that age is hitting you though, Scarlett. It's hitting you, Scarlett.
Coming.
It's right on you there.
It's coming.
Yeah. No, because she's like my age, right? Or really near to it. Which is fine. When she was super young, we saw her in the first Iron Man movie, she was like 30 or something, right?
Yep.
um, so she's in her early 40s now, right? She was okay looking. I think people went a little bit overboard with the hot level of Scarlett Johansson, but oh, whatever.
Well,
Yeah, to
her
each her own.
original appearance as Black Widow, well, as Natasha, really,
Yeah,
was sexy as shit. There's no
it
doubt
had,
about it.
she could drip. She can drip. That
Yep,
is true.
yep. That
But
long red hair. Oof.
yeah, but she ain't that anymore. She literally looks like the Jewish auntie down the road that's yelling if you want some matzo balls in that. Um, so
I don't. I'll tell you right now.
no,
Don't
no,
get
yeah,
get that shit away from me.
get that
I
shit
don't want
away.
nothing to do with matzo
But
balls.
whatever. Let's see here what we got from overall though. Despicable Me, Long Legs, Inside Out, still making some money. That's over 500,000, so that thing's killing.
Bad
Um,
Boys is still out there. Holy crap!
yeah, yeah, it's I don't know if they made their money back on that yet though.
Well, they got
Uh,
184 domestic. I don't know
mm,
about worldwide, but
no, it said total gross 184. So just cut it in half is the easy math. So 90 million. I don't think they made their money back. Those two guys are, especially Will, is too expensive. Kevin Costner's movie bombed badly. That's a
yes,
major bomb. $27 million. That I'm sure that's a $150 million film. This porn lady who's doing mainstream things, Mia Goth. Oh God. Son of Hope. Story of Possum Trot. Sounds like an anime, doesn't it? Lion King re-release. $1 million.
that's how indicting is that?
Yeah,
How indicting is that? Look
yeah,
at that.
yeah. Goodness gracious, bike riders made more money than some of these things. That's interesting.
See, this is the thing, right? This is what reap what you sow, Chester.
Yeah.
It's a physical law of the universe. For reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Uh, it's true in people too, and Hollywood has been sowing bullshit for so long.
Yeah.
And now they're reaping it. No one's interested in anything. Nothing works.
I
Nothing's selling it this year.
no,
Nothing.
I do have a question though. How in the hell does a movie make $4,000 in a weekend? I
It's made 2 million in
it has.
throughout its whole run. Apparently,
Goodness
I don't
gracious.
know. In 40 theaters, I think we might have our answer. I think we might have our answer.
There
It's
you go.
not.
That
It's
explains it a
some.
little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's one of these that's either just on the coastal theaters, right, in LA or New York, and
Maybe.
that's it.
That's pretty
Yeah.
bad though. But nevertheless, I always like to see what's going on with the movies, and nothing interesting is basically what we've come to here. Nothing really interesting. Got a couple of kid things that are doing well and great, great for the families, right? But we do got some things coming out here, and once again, we knew this year was going to be bad. A Greyhound of a Girl. What does this even mean? It's an anime. Um, okay.
4 generations of women traveling on a midnight car journey.
Oh, that
Okay.
sounds exciting, and it's already open internationally, and it made $18,000. Good job. We got The Bride. Doesn't even have a picture. Nice. We got Scary Girl. Once again, bad. It's made $1 million, but bad Cal Arts animation. Swan Song. Let me see if we got anything coming that's going to interest us. Wicked, we know that's going to hit really badly. Last Breath, Cuckoo, we already saw. That's already opened internationally. Um, yeah, yeah, nothing much.
Yeah.
Oh well, it is what it is. Let's just move
The
on.
only thing that's really even kind of coming that's interesting is what's going to happen with Deadpool and Wolverine because
Yep,
it's coming soon here.
yep,
It's coming real quick.
that is true. That is true. Uh,
I actually think it's going to be 1.5 billion. I think that's what it's going to end up with. I think it's going to be really successful because
yeah,
it's Hugh, Brian. It's the thing that everybody's wanted for 15 years. Like there's just too much. It's kind of like the Barbie movie situation.
yeah, yeah.
There was very little chance that movie was going to flop. Very little. It didn't matter.
Oh,
It
sure.
could have been the wokest shit ever, and it kind of was. It didn't matter. It was something women had wanted. They were little girls, and they got it. And that's basically what's about to happen with Deadpool and Wolverine. So I think we're going to see lots of money. I honestly, as much as I hate Disney, I do want to see that movie. I'll probably do it illegally unless the wife wants to go because she does love Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, if she wants to go, I'll take her. Other than that, I'm not going to give Disney any money, but I do want to see it. I'm one of those people wanted this movie since the very first Deadpool appearance back in the day. That ridiculous Wolverine movie.
Yeah, I know, right? Alan's throwing some shade over here, though. You get him, Alan. But I thought it's been a while. I thought we would take a look at what comics have dropped this week. We haven't done that in a while. And just kind of go through and see if there's anything interesting. Chat, if there's something you see that's actually running well. Wish we had Bob in here. But that would be helpful for that. But now Nightwing, 100. Yeah, we are up to issue 116. Now I remember when I was in Hawaii more than 20 years ago. I actually bought Nightwing #1 and 1 through like 9 or 12 or something. And it started off pretty good, but it just kind of dwindled for me. So I don't know what they're doing with him now, but yeah, it's hard to say because there's so much wokeness going on here. We got Superman #16. Which reboot are we on now?
Oh God, who knows at this point? Can't help themselves.
We have the Ultimate X-Men #5. I heard that they rebooted a bunch of the Ultimate stuff. This is definitely in Japan. It's a Japanese yokai girl. Wonder Woman's tied up on her own lasso, the dream of many young boys. You stop me if you want. Titans #13. That could be fun. I
The
noticed that they've dropped
Immortal
the
Thor.
teens. Um,
Yeah, they're not teens anymore. They're all grown up. They're big boys and girls now.
yeah, which makes
Um,
sense. It actually does make sense. Um,
the Immortal Thor, Infinity's, and what is that? An Infinity's Watch? Is that what that says?
the Infinity Watch. Yeah,
Immortal Thor Annual #1. Interesting. Wonder if that's
yeah,
any good.
yeah. I don't know. I mean,
When
because they've
Thor's
been
done well, he's
cucking him
phenomenal.
hard for a while. Yeah, no, I used to like it. Faced with the menace of Utgard, which Utgard would be um, the outside place where you find the Jotun and stuff like. Because you got Utgard, you got Asgard, you got Midgard, right? You got three
Right.
separate areas. Those are and guard means surrounded by a fence is what it means, right? So Midgard, the middle area that is surrounded by a fence. There are three areas, and then within them you have the 9 realms, each one of them
Right.
holding 3 realms, right? Because a lot of people don't understand that Midgard actually holds 3 within it spiritually. In that, I've always looked at it as being a tri-star constellation system, and
Yeah.
each star has 3 functional planets. Anyway,
Right.
Utgard. And a prophecy of his own doom. Well, the son of Odin sought out the legendary Power Stone to aid his fight. Only 2 things were in his way. Firstly, the mighty champion of the universe. Well, that is a serious fight. If you know who that character is, with strength to match Thor's own. Actually, he's superior. Was also questing for the stone. Secondly, the stone is now inside a person. Okay. Is his name Adam and Warlock? The Prince of Power, plus Derek Landy and Sarah Pichelli, continue the journey of the Death Stone bearer. I don't even know what this right here doesn't help me at all. What are you doing?
That's apparently. I'm guessing it's part of this event, the Infinity Watch they
Probably.
have going.
Yeah. We got Ewing, we got Baldian, we got La Roca, and we have Sobolski. Of course. Why are you still
Yep.
here, CB? I met him, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Scared the
The
shit out of me,
Prince
too.
of Power.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound terrible. We'll see how they fuck it up, but it doesn't
Yeah.
sound terrible. Sounds like good Thor shit. Because Thor's always better when he's off doing a grand thing, right? In my opinion, I always like Thor when he's got real stakes
Yeah,
on a
he's
real
dealing with
quest.
something. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not really. Thor is not a superhero. He should
Yeah.
be out here doing big cosmic shit, not superhero stuff.
That's true. Well,
So
Rabbit has
yeah,
emphatically confirmed comics are for nerds. Nerds. Thank you, Rabbit.
correct.
Um.
This is an accurate statement.
Yeah. But
I
I
wish they
don't
would have
know.
stayed that way. I
They
wish
don't
they would have stayed that way.
they don't care for the Thor very much over there.
They don't. He's
Incredible
too
Hulk.
white and
They've
blonde.
rebooted everything again. You notice?
I've noticed, yeah. And
Yeah.
Spectacular Spider-Man again. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this
Invincible
actually
Iron Man.
Peter, or are we still dealing with Doc Ock?
I probably Doc Ock, if I had to guess.
The Invincible Iron Man. Is it even Tony Stark, or is it Ray Ray? Um, Star
Right,
Wars.
right.
We've seen some good Star Wars comics. I don't know how they're doing these
Yep.
days, but that art is crap. Catwoman. I like the cover. Have you noticed these covers are going back to the old sexy? You notice that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. I mean, the dudes, they never stopped showing off the muscle dudes, of course. We got literally women, Wonder Woman here in a S&M situation.
I
That
love it.
Catwoman is smoking, and so is Phoenix over here. A new beginning,
Not bad.
Phoenix. She's supposed to be dead. Leave her dead. It's good she's dead.
How many times is she gonna have a new? I mean, I get that she's a phoenix, but damn.
That we have to deal with that, don't we? We have to deal with that, don't we? Redcoat. That sounds interesting. This is from Image. Redcoat, of course, is used to mean traitor, which is interesting
Yeah,
because it's actually talking about the British uniform.
there he is down here. Your boy, I see him. Do you see him? Old Hellblazer.
Oh yeah. I like Constantine. Dead in America. Now,
I just watched a video talking about the Constantine movie
mhm.
and how unique it is because it feels like the sequel to a movie nobody's ever seen, and that description is perfect.
We talk about the
That's
Keanu one.
perfect. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
perfect description of what that movie because it starts. Everything's in the middle or near the end already. It's not actually there yet, but Keanu already knows everything basically, right? He's got a
Sure.
few
Well,
things to figure out, but he knows
he's
how
established.
the world works. Right? He doesn't need to be taught anything, and I really appreciate that. I always think that's a better way to do these kind of urban fantasy stories. Uh, it's just interesting because he talks about the way that the reason that this movie is unique and even in superhero movies isn't what you think it is. It's because of the way the dialogue is. It's the way that they give you exposition without giving you exposition.
Yeah.
It's all the little things like that, and the fact that Keanu was clearly having the time of his life.
And
He loves
it's got
John
some
Constantine,
great supporting actors in that.
and
Yeah,
it's basically John Wick before John Wick.
in a
If you
way.
actually notice,
Yeah, with
the
magic.
beats are
Yeah.
very similar. The
Well,
themes are very similar.
it's what he does, But that Keanu's Constantine is an example of a movie that is not the source material at all, but great, like Conan. Arnold
Yes,
Schwarzenegger's Conan is not Conan at all, at
yes,
all.
it can be done. It
It can
can
be
be
done.
done.
Yeah,
It just usually won't. That's not usually what happens.
yeah.
They divert and it becomes a mess. But it can be done if somebody has an idea. And one of the things that I can't remember the director's name of that movie, but he had the idea of how to make this in this different world. This it was a very cool aesthetic. Constantine, I would say Keanu's Constantine is cooler than John Constantine Hellblazer. Personally,
Yeah,
just
it
the
is
way
super
everything
cool.
about him.
Yeah, it is super
Yeah, it's
cool.
got a lot of cool
But
about
it's also the cast around him, dude.
it. Yeah,
Right?
killer,
Papa
killer.
Shango and
Yep.
Gabriel, and of course Lucifer himself. Those actors absolutely devoured the scenery, dude. Uh,
Yes.
and it's good. That's how you do Keanu. He's a pretty boy. He does action really well. Just shut up, Keanu, and let the
Let
people
him be
around
the
you do your thing.
centerpiece
And
and
Keanu
let
gets
all the
it.
other stuff move around him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Keanu gets it.
Keanu
He gets
understands.
it. Um,
He knows his job. He
yeah.
knows his job very well.
But do keep in mind the Hellblazer series with John Constantine is much more adult. And so it can be more interesting to you than some of the kiddie books, right?
Right.
And that's fine. Spider-Man is mourning over Morbius here, which could be interesting. Once again, no, it is not Laura Kinney, the Wolverine. It is X-23, or whatever you want to call her. She is not Wolverine, you bastards.
Correct.
Although I do like the art style. Green Lantern War Journals, interesting. Blood Hunters from Marvel. I don't know what this is. Some new series they're running. The Walking Dead. Nah, I'm done with that. Dracula. One. Wow, another Dracula comic from Marvel, dude. Thi-
Can't stop.
yeah,
Can't
but
stop, won't stop.
maybe they should though.
Maybe they should give up the ghosts, is what you're saying. Like, look at that art. That is abysmally
It is
bad.
bad.
What
It
am I
is
looking
really,
at right
really,
here?
really bad. This
Why
looks
would
like
Marvel brand this?
this.
That's
It does.
terrible.
It looks like someone took a clip out of a video game and then just kind of glued some
Oh,
background. Eric, where are you, Eric?
that's not good art at all.
No, it's really
And the
bad.
artist might be phenomenal, but that can't be their best work. Can't be.
No, no. Whereas, take a look at this. Just looks like freaking Jim Ross, dude. I mean, look at it.
That's beautiful.
It's not
Beautiful.
Jim Ross, but it looks really good. That's beautiful. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. But even this nonsense here, with not Wolverine. I like the style. This is good. That's good art.
Yes. Yep, Mr. Gill. Good
Yeah,
artist.
yeah.
But unfortunately, we're not allowed to have Wolverine. He's problematic, so he's got to go.
Well,
We
look at
have
the
to have a
writer,
woman.
Stephanie Phillips. Of course, Wolverine's a
Yeah,
female, right? And the pink hair. It tells you
we
everything
have
you
to
need to
have a
know.
woman who basically just makes Wolverine, but without a penis,
And
and it's
way,
okay
way
because
better. Way better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Scarlet
right.
Witch #2. Why? All right.
Anybody asked for this? Asked for
No, Undiscovered Company from Image is still going. What's the future place from here? Image Comics. This is probably one of their. It looks like number 19, but maybe that's a what if comic. Maybe Fish Flies. That's interesting. Image does put out some interesting stuff. They put out wicked woke stuff too, but I mean, there is a mix. Spider Woman. Look, I don't know what I feel about this cover. Um,
Well, they're not allowed to do sexy Spider Woman.
why
That's
is Moon Knight
vote.
wearing a baseball? Someone needs to be slapped.
Well,
Why
Moon
is Moon
Knight
Knight
clearly looks like a
wearing a
woman
baseball
there.
cap? Oh my goodness, you people!
Is Moon Knight got boobs? Is Moon Knight a chick
I
now? What's
guess he
going on
does
there?
now. I guess it's a look at it. Look how many damn people we need to put this crap together. They're all women. Oh,
Oh,
good job. It's one of those. Oh well, it's still going on. We know it's going to until they're dead. Thundercats from Dynamite.
I love that exists. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's any good, but I love that it exists.
Dude, there was a Thundercats run about a decade or so ago that was killer. It was very adult and
Okay.
dark. It was great. Namor, no one cares. Rat City, it's a Spawn thing. Once again, I don't know
There it
why they
is.
just didn't end Spawn because they did end the storyline, and then all of a sudden they started up again. It's like,
Well,
what are you doing? You
takes
finished your
he
story.
makes too much money. But
I,
that's the only reason.
I suppose,
Um,
but they did finish the
look at right
story
next
though.
to it. Look at right next to it.
Yeah,
Number one,
Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. Yeah, I know.
Daredevil has officially been replaced. Full trans.
Yeah,
Daredevil's been full trans
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Briar from Boom Studios. Don't know anything about it. Looks kind of woke though. Witchblade from Image. #1. Really? Really? Witchblade
Relaunch.
#1? You think?
Well,
Alrighty. Does someone else have the
interesting.
Witchblade? Is that what I doubt it, right? You got Turtle still going on. Man's Best. Alrighty then.
And it's got
Uh,
a woman on there, right?
of course, and she has a bunch of men in her hands. We have What If Aliens? Uh-oh.
Uh
I
oh.
don't even want to look at it. I'm afraid.
Two
Annihilation.
Star Trek.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. So I never cared for Star Trek comics. I never thought they were any good. Red Sonja, the cover looks okay-ish. Annihilation 2099. Really? You're just going to take the storyline and just throw it forward 100 years? Oh, you bastards. Um, I Heart Skull Crusher. Okay, Boom Studios. But Boom Studios knows what it is, though. You know.
Yeah,
So there's that. Usagi Yojimbo is still going on, dude. What the
still
Crow
rocking.
#4? Huh. What do
Still
you say?
rocking.
No, Usagi Yojimbo is very popular. The Powerpuff
Yeah,
Girls #1, and it's classic Powerpuff Girls too.
good,
Into
good.
the Unbeing. I used to love Dark Horse back in the day, by the way. Misery
Misery.
#2.
That's a good name. Good name for a comic.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
What are we doing in Spider-Man? What is
I have
I'm
no
looking at?
idea. I do know that
Pure
the
evil.
the Spider-Man covers I'm seeing aren't great though. That's a good cover right here
Yeah.
for Pure Evil though, but it's clearly wicked woke. Um, Biker Mice from Mars, #1, Oni Press. Wow.
Good old Rocketeer. Look at that.
Yeah, and it's still a dude. So,
Yep. Yep. Well, assume that looks like a dude.
well, for the moment, because they were really switching that over. Um, Heart Piercer from Dark Horse, #3. I don't know. The
What? What?
Valiants. Go ahead.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. What are we doing?
Is this a reprint?
I'm hoping.
A
I'm hoping.
facsimile edition? Yeah, it's a reprint. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
You got Man of War.
#3, Invictus. So they got a storyline going on with him again.
Oh, One
Although I
Piece
don't
still
like the
kicking.
art for him though.
Yeah, it's not great art. But apparently you don't need great art. Look at One Piece. It's over 1,100 editions, and the art's never been great. I don't care what anybody says.
No, well, to be fair, the manga art is better than the anime, but yeah, no, I've never been a fan of it. But it hits
Yeah, it's
though.
not great.
People love One Piece,
Oh,
dude.
it's huge. Huge.
Oh my goodness, Luchaverse. Uh-oh.
That is a thing?
From
Hot wait.
from Massive Publishing. Interesting.
So Ray's obviously involved somehow because that's clearly his mask.
Yeah, no,
And
it
it
is.
says
Yeah,
Mysterio down at the bottom. Interesting.
it says Mysterio. Yeah. Why not?
Huh.
Ray deserves his own comic. I
Oh no,
agree.
there's wrestling comics for luchadors in Mexico that are huge.
I bet. Yeah.
Huge.
Look at this, Michael Moorcock's Elric, the Necromancer, from Titan Books. Now, Titan is a French publisher, just so you guys listening know. I don't even know if anyone was even watching this. Oh, wow, we got 10
Yeah.
people. Nice. But Titan Books is a French publisher, and what they do is usually they take other people's stuff, glam the hell out of it, and sell it as a graphic novel book, right? And they're expensive, but damn. And this right here might be something you want to buy because what this is Mike Moorcock's story that was originally done. Who did those things? Was that Marvel back in the day, or was it Valiant? I can't remember. Way back, super colorful, just very 70s psychedelic, colorful books, and they have a beauty of their own, to be fair. But these Titan books, their redoing of the art and it's spectacular, dude. Spectacular. This is one that needs to kind of go into the, you know, it's got multiple covers too. This is one that might want to go in the collection here.
It
Yeah,
looks good.
yeah,
That's
they're
a very
really
good cover.
gorgeous, dude. They're so gorgeous.
Does
Yeah,
it show the other covers?
yeah, it
Is
does
it
right
just
here.
that one?
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, those are. Oh man, that one right there, that black and
yeah,
white one,
yeah,
that's clean,
yeah. And
clean.
don't.
This one's got a little bit of noise. It looks good, but it's got a little bit of noise. That other one is real clean,
It is clean.
real
And
simple.
don't tell anyone. Don't tell the Witcher that this is their granddaddy. All right. Anyway, um, but those Moorcock re-releases by Titan
What an
Press,
unfortunate name.
but whatever. They are from Titan Books. These are really, really great.
The
Avatar from
Mammoth.
Dark Horse, whatever. Truth or Dare from Archie. Archie. Archie is still a thing. I thought they were bought up by
It's
DC.
still a thing. Yeah,
Huh.
still out there, still kicking.
Yeah, but maybe it's just being published through Warner Brothers, though.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see
I'd
here. More
imagine.
reprints. Might as well. You're not making money anywhere else, so try another
Yeah.
Titan book. High on Life. Interesting. The Mammoth from Mad Cave Studios. We're noticing more press, more comic companies. You notice that?
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Good. There's a massive. Listen, One
There's a
Piece
hole.
is a great example. There's a massive hole, and there's a demand out there for good comic books. That's why manga's been able to do what it's done. There's no good reason it can't be Western developers. None.
Mhm.
Other than the fact that the
Yeah.
big
Why not?
two have completely lost their fucking mind.
All right.
So, yeah, more
We
is
got
better.
couple more here. Massive Publishing again. Ahoy Comics. My bad. Escape from Peculiar Island. Dude, that looks like a book I should read.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zenoscope. That's just softcore porn. Um, effectively. Image Comics. The Image is still putting a lot of stuff out, dude. Magma
Yep.
Comics. The Scarlet Trade. This one, that's not very good art. Mad Cave again. The art's okay. No, the Scarlet here. The alternate cover, it looks like. Second printing, Jason Howard Scarlet variant. Interesting. Now,
Blood
here's a
Hunt
better
2.
Spider Man cover, number 4 here.
Click on that real quick. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick.
That is a great picture. Who's doing the art
That's
here?
phenomenal. Who did
Um,
that?
so David, well, no, cover here is Kale Okay. That's a
That is
great
phenomenal.
Spider-Man, though. That is great.
Yeah, that's really
It was
good.
great. You know, there was Japanese girl, mangaka, that so many years ago we were talking about her, and she did some Spider-Man stuff. She was really good too. Asians
They love Spider-Man.
making, yeah, sure, everyone loves
Love
it.
them.
Yeah, but you know, let's see here. Where are we? All right, so more of this blood. A
Well,
lot of
there's
variant covers. You notice that? So many variant
oh,
covers.
what's that Blood Hunt about? Blade? Is that Blade?
It is Blade. It's we've seen many iterations. It's basically dealing with Dracula. They brought Dracula back as a big bad, and they're fighting Dracula, and they made a series of it. So okay, again, again. I don't even know how many times
Again.
that's happened in Marvel. Um, Spider-Man.
Helverine?
This is another reprint.
Wait, 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 wait a second.
Helverine,
First of all, did they Ghost Rider up? Is that what I'm looking at?
maybe,
And then,
maybe.
and then, in their infinite wisdom, they came up with Helverine.
Yeah, yeah. They got 2 covers too.
That's horrifically stupid.
But this looks like
That
his
is
son, though. It doesn't
real
look
bad.
like Logan. That looks like
Okay,
his son.
that's all well and good, but the name is bad. Like,
Yeah, well, you know.
Wolverine. That is '90s edge written all over it. Is what that is. Holy whoa, Thundercats, Chara.
Chitara. Okay.
What
Red
is going on
Sonja.
over here?
Batman. That's a nice cover.
Poison Ivy. What happened? Where did we took a turn?
We did.
I'm not complaining.
It's been a while.
I like that turn.
We're still seeing a bunch of the woke stuff, but clearly they're bringing back the sexy.
Whoa! Oh, it's Vampirella. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Even Batman 60. What's up with the 609 here? They got the ladies out for Batman 609.
They do. They do. Yeah. But there we go. So that's what's out this week. There's a lot of there's even other ones we haven't talked about here. We got Webtoon stuff, Comixology stuff. What's going on with them? Stranger Publishing, Shueisha, Shueisha.
That's it.
And yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, no, you're
Whew.
right, dude. We definitely see some. They still got some woke stuff going on. But
The ladies
yeah, the ladies
is out.
are back. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
We're allowed to have sexy women again in comics, boys. We did it.
Shocking. It's shocking.
We did it.
But yeah, other than Mr. Eagle, yeah, Mr. Eagle, that's what I got for you today. So,
Mr. Eagle, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Eagle himself.
yeah.
We actually have bald eagles around here now. We didn't used to when I was growing up, but they made a comeback over here.
Well,
They're in this area. I see them all the time.
When I was young, pollution was a serious issue. They have gone about cleaning it up. America is now one of the cleanest places on earth, oddly enough. If
Believe
you
it or
look at
not.
the air scales and stuff like that. And of
Yep.
course, when you do that, things are, pollution is bad. We should clean things up.
We should not have. That's a bad
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
it's bad.
Correct.
But yeah, an American eagle, of course, is protected. And
There's one of the
yeah.
coolest things I've ever seen in person, Chester. As a human man, we were at this marsh, which is like a preserve, right? Because Ohio, where I'm at, is it's a swamp. Let's be honest. But this part of it, they let still just be a swamp, basically. It's a marsh, and there's a lot of eagles there because that's where they like to be. And I was walking, we were walking down, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see this like flash go by,
Mhm.
and it was an eagle. He was in full swoop, going after a fish or something, I'd imagine. And I didn't see him the first time, but he came flying back with his catch, basically right in front of me, maybe 30 feet in front of me,
Oh,
just
that's cool.
flying right past me. I
That
was like,
is
"Oh!" It was so cool.
that is cool. Yeah. We do have some comments here about the comics, though. Alan says Blackula has more street cred. That is true. Um, let's see. Do we still get Alien Dark Horse stuff? That was my fave. Yeah, it looked like it. Daredevil has a front hole now. He does. Yeah.
He does. Front
IDW
hold.
Star Trek is Heather and ooh. That's
Oh,
Heather Antos is running that. Well, don't read that. Boom just
yeah,
got sold. Grimlock says. Wow. Really?
that's not
That's
that good or bad. I don't
scary.
know.
That could be scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Um,
Boom. Boom puts out good stuff.
they do. I got a bunch of Boom stuff. Um, Avatar needs just 10 cents a day. Making a joke about how skinny the Avatar was. Um, I'm reading Beneath the Trees, G.I. Joe, Conan, and Indies right now. The big two can suck it. Yeah, yeah, well, that's kind of how we all feel. Ellen continues, the Ghost Blade is right here, right there. Okay. S.E. Spider, gonna make an indie comic line suggestion. Awesome This Comics, an entire series of comics written, drawn, and published by one young 23-year-old. Met him 3 years ago. Cool. His art isn't yet something to write home about, but he puts his heart into every series and book he puts out, worth checking out. Well, SE Spider, we do quite a bit of that on this channel. On
Yep.
Thursdays, we have Drone Recorder Ultimate Edition, which is in collaboration with Mike Miller's channel. And his pro version of the show. And we have a lot of artists on there. Some of them are definitely what you're saying. Their art isn't quite there yet, but their heart is pure comic. And we also got a bunch of guys like Rabbit here up in the chat who are extremely accomplished artists. I mean, matter of fact, Rabbit is one of the best artists we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
E-
pretty good.
Even though he has very bad taste in anything cultural, though. Don't listen to him. But
Don't worry, Rabbit. That as you know, that is a great endorsement. That
it
is
is.
a
It is.
ringing
It is.
endorsement for
It
Chester to
is.
say
It is.
that.
Honestly, I'll be back in a minute. Handle it, please.
I'm handling it. I'm handling something. Uh, so Boom got sold. Who bought Boom up? Does anybody know? Anybody over there in the chat? Who got Boom up? Let me look that up. Actually, I'll check that out. I'll check it out right now in front of your eye holes, chat. I can't control what you're looking at though. Chester's control of that. Let's see. Boom Comics sold. News broke today that Boom Studios is being acquired by Penguin Random House. What? The world's largest book publisher. That's what? Why did Random House buy them? This is very strange. I mean, that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. I was not expecting them of all people. But that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Penguin Random House is infected. There's no doubt about it. They are very infected with the old Mind virus. But they are one of, if not the world's largest publisher. So, as long as Boom doesn't get, too meddled with, that has potential to be very important. I just find that odd. I don't know why they would buy up a comic book. Do they do that? Is that something they've done? I've never heard of them doing that before. So it's very interesting that of all companies, Penguin Random House, they're the world's biggest the world's largest book publisher, apparently. And the owner, the people who did the sale, apparently had been talking to them for years about it, and eventually it just went on. The main people are still to stay on. So it was just a straight up sale. It looks like things are going to mostly continue business as usual. We'll see if that actually happens. Because I really like Boom. Boom has put out some of the better books during this ridiculous era of just nonsense. They put out some nonsense too, but a lot of their stuff has been really, really good. So we will see if having this bigger platform effectively what that does for them, because like I was saying earlier, there's been a massive hole in the market for a long time, and manga has largely filled that hole, but that's even kind of receded a little bit. I feel like maybe that might not be true, but it just doesn't seem like it's as prevalent as it was a few years ago. So that means the demand's probably still there. People are just looking for something different. So seeing a whole bunch of new publishers come up, new developers come up, studios come up, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for everybody. As we've seen in video games with Steam and the proliferation of Steam and the other launchers and things, the other marketplaces, uh, diversity, actual diversity in your game market is a good thing. Options is a good thing. Competition is a good thing. It drives everything, makes everybody a little bit better. So hopefully that's what we're going to see here. I am still trying to process Penguin of all people being the ones to buy Boom. I don't understand that move, uh, but I'm sure there's some grand strategy. Maybe this is a larger move by them to get into the comics space because, like I said, there is a hole, there is a gap. It would make a lot of sense for them to really push hard into it. It makes a lot of sense for anybody who has the ability. I've been saying it for years, and they largely did do it, but I've been saying it for years that your Amazons and your others need to push hard into the space because the market's still there. You can't say the market's not there when manga is blowing up, and then for 10 years, the biggest movies in the world were all comic book movies. You can't say the market isn't there. The market's clearly there. So it just takes somebody with savvy and actual business acumen, not whatever the hell's going on at Marvel and DC, to get in there, fill the gap, and make tons of money. Um, and I just think we're starting to see that now. We're starting to finally really see what we had been trying for, what we had been striving for over here for years, was to get legitimate competition up to the big two, or just any level of competition, really, to the big two, to try and break the duopoly up. And it's starting to happen whether people over here are pushing it or not, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing at all. The two big boys, the big dogs, they got real comfortable. They got too comfortable,
Yeah.
and they started doing the thing that they shouldn't be doing, which is talking down to their audience. You should never
Yep.
talk down to your audience.
Yep.
And now I think we're starting. So apparently, Chester, the people who bought Boom were Penguin Random House, the largest book publisher in the world.
Ooh.
That's interesting to me. That's very interesting. Now I know that they're infected as hell, but everybody's infected in that world. Um, but that's very interesting to me. That
Yeah.
has implications, a lot of implications.
It could. It definitely
Uh,
could. They want to get in the game, and of course, why wouldn't they? Makes sense.
yep,
But you know, these things are kind of beyond the pale, and people are out. But you could fix it. You do have an opportunity if
yep,
someone comes in, buys one of these things. Everyone's going to give them that one shot. Okay, we got new owners. Let's see what they do.
yep,
Right. So there is
yep,
there is still a window to fix it, but you got to sell it. And honestly, with like say I'm a Marvel guy anyway. But
yep,
with Marvel, it's going to be hard to do with the DC. But with Marvel, the solution is really, really simple, right? Do a complete reboot,
yep,
not a half-ass one, not a little bit twinkle in my eye one, but a full-on reboot, and then separate your damn titles. Do classic Marvel that is back set in the 60s and 70s and 80s, right? Classic
right,
Marvel. Have modern Marvel that is, and the classic dudes, if they're in there, they're either people who don't age, like Steve Rogers or Logan, right? Or characters like that. Or they're really old, like Tony Stark is basically being kept alive by his technology and he's running corporation. Maybe, you know what I would do? With modern Tony, maybe I would do a very long run of Tony just be incredibly corrupt and he's kind of the bad guy. And
yeah,
someone's got to beat sense back into him or something. You could do something fun like that. And then have your what if stuff, right? Which you can
right,
use to introduce new ideas, new things, just anything you want. You could do your woke shit right there, no problem, right? And then just
right,
have a couple of tags like Max or Kids, right? And that's easy. So you got your classic stuff for the people who like it. You can go back and tell the old stories from a different point of view or a different angle, or you could fill in stuff with the classic guys set in their classic era, right? And then
Yep.
what that does is it completely opens you up for what's going on right now, right? You could have some legacy characters, you could have new characters. It opens you up. But what they keep doing is this stupid thing of saying, no, we're just going to keep modernizing these characters. How many times has Spider Man been put in high school over the past
Right.
frickin' 60 years? I mean, knock it
Yeah.
off. We should have Mayday Parker. Matter of fact, Mayday Parker should have kids coming up. We should have the third generation, right? And
Yeah.
Peter should be, well, he's got the thing in him, so maybe he won't age as quickly as he should, maybe. But we should have his freaking grandkid spinning around
Right.
in the Marvel now, as it were, right? But they refuse. They just keep rebooting everything and keep modernizing everything. And of course, we have the woke stuff as well, but that's not the only problem. The problem is
No.
they can't get away from the character. Have your classic era. Keep them in the era they were in, and you could tell as many stories as you want in that situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it whatever you want, but more importantly, what it does is it opens you up for the what's going on now in Marvel by doing that, having that foundation sitting right there, right? It
Right.
lets you do anything you want. And then with the what if, you can kind of throw out ideas for things that are maybe a little bit more extreme and see what the people think, right? So it's a
Right.
perfect format. Reboot the damn thing. Give yourself some proper continuity because over the years the continuity is completely screwed, right? But put your Bible back together and stick to it, right?
Yep.
And this allows you to do many different things. It's not hard. It's really not hard. I should be in charge over there. Damn it.
Should
Yeah.
send your resume in. Send it over. Be like, listen, let me take over.
Yeah. I'm
Let
going
me
to
in.
deal with it.
Let me do
I'm going to deal with it.
it.
But you know
But
what I
no,
mean.
the
It's an easy solution, dude.
well,
DC's
because we've
harder,
been
but
this is a lot harder. We've been noticing, we've been pointing out that there is a hole in the market. There's a reason
oh yeah.
why a guy like an Eric July can put out his
Hmm.
thing and make millions of dollars. There's a reason why so many of these guys can do that. Is because there is a demand.
Right.
It exists. But
Well,
the
the
market's not being filled because we have a duopoly that's either gatekeeping it,
oh,
or you
that
just have a
sounds
lot of
familiar.
weird you have a lot of weird bias towards this particular medium in the
Yep.
West, especially in America. And people, you have the people who could make the change, get in and enforce change by being competition. Those people just don't jump in. So with Penguin jumping in, that's
It
interesting.
could be interesting, yeah. I mean, look at the poor nerds. They're having to read manga, and no one wants that.
Some manga's really good, but most of it is
You know what
trash.
I
It's
mean.
just yeah.
It's not
Um,
your culture, dude. You ain't going to get it. I see all these
no.
people making comments all the time and they're like, "Yeah, you don't understand what they're doing at all." Because they don't get it. If you're not part of the I mean, even the simplest thing with manga. A lot of times when you see something on the page, it's not actually happening. It's
Right.
representing the emotion of the moment. This is how they do, you see. And Westerners are far more literal, right? I'm glad that the manga companies and anime companies are making money. I mean, good for them, right? I'm always happy when people making good money legitimately, right? But we
Right.
need American comics back. I mean, come on, guys. It's one of the few genres we actually created. We don't
It's
have
ours.
much, you know.
It's ours. No one can take it
We
from
culturally
us.
appropriate quite a bit.
We do. Well, we're really good at it.
You know, we're
We're in
good.
fact phenomenal at it. We might be the best, to be honest. The problem isn't that China keeps trying to steal our shit; it's that they steal it
That's
and make
true,
it
right?
worse. That's the
That's
problem.
true.
If they
Yeah.
were stealing it and making it better, no one would care. We'd be like,
You
ah,
know,
damn it, they got us again.
no, Rabbit makes a good point here, though. He does make a good point because I grew up in New England, right? So
Yep.
we had access to a lot more BBC than the rest of the country did, right? I didn't know that at the time. I know it now. So I grew up with tons of little weird sitcoms and stuff like that
Yes.
that no one else saw, like Thin Blue Line and all that kind of. I love that. But so I grew up with British humor, and British humor is not like American humor. It's quite different.
No.
But it's
Very different.
quirky, and sometimes we get a chuckle at it, right? It's kind of old
Right.
fashioned, really. But Rabbit's making a joke about you don't even like Japanese humor. No, because it's like your humor. See, the pause is powerful, Thunder.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
no,
That's.
Japanese and
But
British humor are
honestly,
very
how
similar,
Howell says Penguin House might gear the properties for a young audience.
which is
Good.
fine. I have no problem with that. Yeah,
The people
that's what.
forget
Yeah,
comic books were original. At least the superhero, the cape shit, was originally designed for with a younger audience in
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah,
That was the point.
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't have to be such edgelord nonsense all the time. And the fact that people think that is what it is required, I want to point out to you that there's a game that's been being made for about 20 years called Kingdom Hearts. If
Oh,
you ever played Kingdom Hearts,
mega hit. My daughter loves that series. Uh,
huge game
Huge
series,
game
and it
series.
is literal diabetes. It is
Yeah,
so
it is.
sweet
It is.
and things like that. There's
But
no
it's
reason
Disney.
that comic books need to be this ultra edgy bullshit. They just
No,
don't.
I
I'm
mean
not saying they can't have any of it,
you can have
but
some, but yeah,
all of it's got to be that.
and you remember years ago, many years ago, Mike Miller, was
Yep,
kind of going around and he was really harping on the fact that no, the kids just aren't reading comics anymore, and he's right.
right,
And why
right.
aren't they? They should be reading comics, right?
Yep.
And I have no trouble if you want to make some comics for young girls. You know what? They've always done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact,
Uh,
they were kind of some of the first audience was young girls.
oh yeah, they
They
had some
had
big banger hits. Yeah, especially when the
yeah.
code came in, right?
Yep.
Especially when code came in.
Yep.
But I'm just saying that that's not a bad thing. Get back to that. And keep in mind, a lot of people might look at some of the early Stan Lee and Kirby stuff and say, "Well, that's a bit rough for a kid." Well, you're maybe modern soft peel
Little
kids,
pussies.
sure.
Yeah.
But
Little
back, I
pussy
mean,
kids.
we just did Don Bluth on
Right.
Drone and Quarter. I mean, Don Bluth
Yeah.
is freaking my childhood. I mean, you want to be
Right.
terrified? Go watch a Don Bluth movie.
Yeah.
They didn't hold back,
Softies.
right? They didn't hold back.
That's a very Western thing to protect the kids that
It's
like to
that's
this
too
extent.
much to the
It's too
extent. Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Too
it's too
much.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, you keep sexual stuff away and stuff, but don't be afraid to scare a kid. You don't even let's see. Manga has always been the best. Yes, we know, Rabbit. BBC is a category in the hub. It is true. That is true, Alan. Thank you. Um,
That's why I was laughing.
that's right.
Because
It's
you're like, I
better.
see, we had way more
Yeah, because
BBC in
Netflix
New
is
England.
sitting.
Like,
I'm kind of going along with that, but let me see what he's trying to say here. Big. I'm assuming that's referring to Black Man, and Hub would be that Pornhub thing, I guess, right?
yes, BBC is a slang acronym for Big Black Cock.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
figured that. But
Yep.
sorry for my naivete. Figuring it out. Well,
Well, here's the thing. It's not totally true, though. Yes, people have Netflix, they have this, but webcomics are still massive. Absolutely gigantic in scope. Even my wife reads them on her phone. Like, there's no reason these companies shouldn't be pushing hard into the paint into where the audience is. The audience is there. Now, I'm not saying you need to get rid of floppies and stuff. I don't think that's the truth because we know that manga sells like crazy and they sell comics in Europe sell like crazy. So that's not necessarily required, but what is required is you have to give somebody value for their going to buy that book. But if you can't get those people, one of the best things that like Shonen ever did was the super cheap subscription service that gives you basically everything digitally, right? And if you want to read something, and then if you want to go buy the hard copy of it, it'll be available. But that's a brilliant idea, and that's honestly I don't know why the others haven't tried to truly copy it. Um, Regardless of that, though, the web comics, the social media comics. I get on Facebook. I'm on Facebook all the time, doing business and things on there, and I'll see ads for all sorts of typically, basically porn comics, but they're comics that are digital comics that you have
Sure.
to pay for to read. They'll give
Well,
you a sample. You can read that, and then you got to pay them to read the rest of it.
yeah, which
Why
I'm
don't I
fine
see
with.
Marvel? Why don't I see DC? Why don't I
Yeah.
see any of
Well, we
these
do have
doing that exact same
Comixology.
format?
We do have
I
that.
understand they have that, but that's not on Facebook. I've never seen. If it is,
Amazon
I've never
does.
seen it. Like, why isn't there more of a push by these two companies? And we know why. The answer is because their daddy corporations pay all their bills. They don't
They don't
have to
have to
worry
worry
about making
about
money.
shit. Yeah, they got sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Um, which I need to make a public warning, statement here, for the betterment of the public. This
Uh
initialism, Alan, is getting out of hand. I was watching this young girl bitch about something or another the other day, and she kept saying PTO, 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 and I was like, "What? Are we talking about farming?" Um, and no, nobody, just me. No one gets that joke, huh?
oh.
All right, fine. Be like
Paid
that
time
then.
off?
Yeah, see, you
I don't
knew it
know.
instantly. I had to figure it out because a PTO is what we use to transfer power from the tractor to the implement that is being used. That's a PTO,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But she kept going on, what the hell's a PTO? And I figured it out. It's personal time off. So why don't you
Yeah.
just say sick leave, bitch?
Because that doesn't sound as official.
I
See,
guess.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Alan,
PTO
you're
sounds like
part of the problem, Alan. That's all
pseudo.
I got to say. You're part of the problem.
See, acronyms sound very military, very official, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the government always uses acronyms for everything. So
Well,
people, that's how simple people's
Well, I don't
brains are.
mind acronyms like SCUBA. I'm cool with that, or news. But these are initialisms. Did you know
Yeah.
what? Do you know what news means? Do you actually? It's an initialism, or excuse me, it's an
Or
acronym. Do you know?
doesn't it just mean the
An
directions?
anagram? Sorry.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you know
just
what it
the
means?
directions. Isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't it just the directions?
No. News stands for noteworthy events, sports, and weather.
Oh.
Oh. It's an anagram,
Well,
like SCUBA.
wait, wouldn't it be noteworthy events, weather, and sports?
Didn't I say that?
No, you said sports and weather.
Whatever.
I was confused for a second. Oh, I always thought it just meant the direction, right? This is the news from
Northeast,
northeast, west,
west.
and south.
No.
Yeah,
It's noteworthy events, weather, and sports. Um,
gotcha.
but yeah, it's an anagram. And I don't have a problem with anagrams. I'm cool with the anagrams. Scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. I'm good with it, right?
Yeah,
But initialisms, way too far. Everyone's talking
right.
initialisms, and I'm an old
Yeah, it
dude,
sounds
and I got to figure
sounds
shit out.
official.
I mean, fuck off.
We have to get you a initials dictionary carry around with you just so
I
you can keep
guess.
up.
I got a synonym book and an antonym book. I guess I got to
A
add
thesaurus?
initialism. I thought thesauruses are great. I love thesauruses.
I do. I use
Yeah,
one all the time.
those are
It's
great.
great when you're trying to write too, and you're like, I can't use that word that many times. All right,
Yeah.
all
You
right, give me another one.
when
Give
I
me another
was
one.
you want to know how cool I was when I was a high school boy? I wanted
Oh,
to memorize the thesaurus. I wanted
that
to
would be
be the thesaurus.
a task.
Yeah.
That
Well,
would
it's
be a task.
impossible. I'll let you know. It's impossible.
Yeah, you
And then
can't. I
when
don't.
you add in layers and layers of languages like I did, you're just stupid. Yeah.
It just makes you dumb. You just brain just like, no,
Yeah.
no, we're done. We're dumb
Because
now.
now I
That's it.
have to
I've had
figure
enough
out
of
the
you.
other ones too. And it's like, oh God,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, no, the English language is monstrous. It's
It's
huge.
huge. 6.5 million words. Yeah.
Yeah, that's outrageous, and it's more every day too, where they're
Yeah.
always coming up with some new bullshit.
Keep in mind
Like,
that, well, that's why it's so huge. But keep in mind also, I think there's a bit of skewing to that because I haven't went and counted. But there's a bit of skewing because, of course, in English, any word, now I don't mean preposition or any of that, I mean word. Any word in English can be used as a noun, verb, or adjective, right? We can do
yes,
everything with them,
we
where
cheat.
other
Yeah,
other languages can't do that as easily or at all. But just
we're
to let you
cheating.
know, here in Japanese, of course, is an older language than ours, quite a bit
Mhm.
older, but it's literally 10% the size of English.
Yes.
So wow.
It's very interesting how many words we have for something. So, like, say shadow, right?
Mm.
We'll have a bunch of different words that mean a bunch that mean shadow, and some that just metaphorically mean shadow. And then you go look at Japanese, and there's like one or two that mean shadow, and but each one of those versions will be slightly different pronunciations or whatever, and it'll just
English,
have
yeah. English, yeah.
different versions of it, and
Yeah.
it's that's the
Well,
way it is.
you know why that is? It's a very interesting reason why. There's a couple of reasons actually. One, in English, you're not allowed to cut anything from your sentence, right?
Right.
You got
No
to have
cheating.
your pronouns, you got to have your prepositions, you got to have your conjunctions, your nouns, verbs, and adjectives. You can't cut a single thing. Most languages you can chop it down to its bare necessity, right? But English, you're not allowed to do this. And of course, English also has the English culture has a very high emphasis on wit, right? Whereas other
Right.
cultures, of course, they can be witty, but there's not a language emphasis on it, right? But English has a very high emphasis on being witty, and there's been some dialogue on why that is, and a lot of it where everyone used to have a weapon, and the cities used to start denying people carrying weapons, and they changed from the wit of the rapier to the wit of the tongue. Now I don't know. It sounds good to me, I guess. But whatever it is, English. These two problems come together to create an absolute monster list of adjectives to the point that the adjectives in English often outnumber the entire word base of other languages. Understand
That's right.
that. English has more adjectives than most languages have words.
We just want to be descriptive.
Well, we have to
Yeah.
be specific because one thing that humans do love is being succinct, right?
Yes. Specificity.
Um, Very much. And so having a subtle shift in a variety of adjectives that mean the same thing but are slightly different allows us to
That's
be
right.
very specific. And so it is. English is kind of an interesting little beast. It really is. Yeah. And I'm
Yep.
sure your guys are all very excited about that. However,
The global trade language, Old English.
yeah, it is. It is. And it kind of happened rather naturally. Keep in mind, the French spent billions of dollars trying to make French the international business language. They spent
Yeah, but
billions of dollars trying to make that happen. And everybody's like, go away, French.
yeah, they heard French and then they smelled French people and they're like, no,
Yeah, no, no. But I mean, English, of course, the English, the British, the UK being all over the world and stuff certainly helped. But
didn't hurt.
honestly, I argue, this is my opinion, but I argue that actually one of the big reasons English stuck is Hollywood.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
100%. The
I think.
propaganda machine
Well, it's just
is
people are
the
watching all these movies and they're all in English. I've seen many people that I've met in my travels that they learn English from watching English TV.
yes,
Interesting. I don't know how you do that, but they did it. But
yeah,
whatever it is, English is the language. Pretty much everybody speaks it. It's very convenient to be an English speaker to the point that English speakers tend not to speak any other language at all. Now, Rabbit's
don't
in
need to.
Britain, therefore Europe, even though I know I just gave him an aneurysm. I just did. But Rabbit, do you speak any French or German at all? Do you?
Speak any
Because
French, any
well,
Francais.
I mean, some do, but some don't, right? Whereas if you go to Europe, they all speak at 3 to 5 languages on average, the European, right? But if you go to America, most Americans don't even speak English properly,
That's
let alone
correct. Or they
anything
speak
else.
they speak a completely and utterly fabricated dialect of
It's weird.
English
You
that
know
they
what
just
the
made up.
weirdest one are the black people though, dude. Because
Yeah,
Africans are the most gifted linguists in the world. Black Africans,
right,
they are the best speakers. Those guys speak a ton of languages. They're really good with it. And it makes sense. They have a beautiful round sound to their voice because of the cavity of their mouth, how their biology, right? But
right.
they are really good with language. But what happened to the American blacks, dude? What the hell happened? Because they can't speak
Question.
they can't even speak half an English. It's so bad, dude.
It's not
Right?
good.
Is that
Uh,
racist?
a little bit, but that's fine. The Tom, our
That's
boy,
cool,
the
Rob.
man, the myth, the legend, Thomas Sowell, has a theory that it is um, most of Black American culture, especially their things like that, come from Southern rednecks, from hillbillies, basically,
Sure. And the
and
hillbillies
that
are from Britain. It's your fault, Rabbit. He's getting to it.
yep,
Go ahead.
yep, that's basically all true, as far as I can tell. It's one of the reasons why they all say y'all. A lot of y'alls coming in.
Oh, no, no, no. If you
Very
ever
similar.
lived in the South and you listen to Urbanese, it's the same.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's just been
definitely getting
blacked
it
up
from
a little bit.
the South. Yeah, it's Southern thing.
Yep.
And I'm not, I was playing around with Rabbit, but in truth, keep in mind all of that those Southerners that we call hillbillies or rednecks these days, which I don't know that there are many left to be honest. But
Yep.
they're all coming from those kind of Cockney type British. That's where
That's
they're
correct.
coming from. Those kind of blue collar British people that came over and looking for a brighter future. A lot of Irish too.
Right.
But they
Yep.
kind of that's where that accent's coming from. It's actually originally one of the uh, you know Britishisms.
Britishisms.
Yeah.
Oh, English. We've taken your language. It is ours now. You can't have it back.
Well,
Sorry, England. It's
the
ours now.
interesting thing, and I don't know how much I agree with this, but there is the standard linguistic theory that is the mainstream theory
Right.
is that in the study of English, of course, these people study all kind of languages, but in the study of English, what they've actually found out is over the ensuing 5 centuries, the British have evolved, and they have
Yeah.
all their little pockets of dialect and use all across the islands, and therefore that's why you get this just incredible variety of dialect in Britain, right? Whereas the
Yep.
Americans, there are a couple of dialects that have popped up, but in general, the standard Yankee, meaning New English, English, is today much closer to what English sounded like 400 years ago than British is today.
Right.
And would you like to guess why they think that is? I don't know that I agree with it, but you know what they think is the reason that has happened?
What?
Protestantism.
Would yeah, could be. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Preaching.
Well, no, just
The,
being very strict about every damn thing.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is dying in America, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's
Protestant
unfortunate,
churches.
but you listen to Joe Rogan, you need Jesus.
You do.
You do.
You do.
Anyway,
And I don't know how you can watch what happened yesterday and not be like, what? Something told that man to turn his head at that exact second. Something did. Because that was too perfect.
yep,
That was too perfect.
yep.
Where America's president literally dodged a bullet going through his skull.
Well, the media, mainstream media, and the Democrats are going to drop this and not try to talk about it at all. I guarantee you this.
Yep.
However, when this man walks in, which should be soon, right? I mean, he's got to be the RNC thing must be soon. Um,
It is.
but when he walks into that room, dude,
Oh, yeah.
even the
Yeah.
rhinos are going to have to clap, and they're going to be pissed.
Chester, you know what's. This
Yeah.
is another reason why I say people who are atheists are silly. They're silly people. There's debate, but one of the days that is said to be the birthday of Sir Julius Caesar
hmm
is July 13th.
That's why we
Same
call it
day
July.
Trump,
But anyway, go ahead.
yes, the same day Trump quite literally dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's weird. Of all the days in the world, it's that one? That's crazy.
Yeah, it is interesting. By the
That's
way,
what are the
I
what
I
are the
like
odds?
I like the light blue you got going on,
Yep.
juxtaposed to my green. It's kind of perfect.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's thank Trump for it. That's all
yeah,
him. He set that up.
he did.
Because I'm told that this was all fake, right? This was just a big photo op. He set this all up. He literally had somebody shoot at his face or the back of his head for a photo op. That's what there's people who actually believe. They
I
think that
know
this was
that's
all.
ridiculous. It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
It happened, and it's not like it's the first time. Just keep in mind, during his presidency, some asshole at the behest of Democrats went and shot up a bunch of Republican congressmen. Don't forget this.
Correct.
It wasn't that long ago we had a whole bunch of them shot up. One guy
At
really
one of
busted up.
his yeah, he barely survived. At one of his events, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, somebody pulled a gun on him there.
Yeah, no.
He didn't
Yeah, I
fire any
remember that.
shots,
Yeah,
but
because that guy got dealt with very quickly.
he
But
got put down.
Yeah. But this does happen. I saw it, and it is what it is. But once again, this photo, which I understand is slightly doctored, I get it. However, this photo, this is going to be in school books in the future. There's
Yep.
no way it's not. There's no way it's not. It's just you. I mean, my goodness, how could you have a more iconic angle of a bloodied president with his fist in defiance in the air and the American flag literally soaring overhead?
Soaring upside down
Well,
overhead.
that's because of the wind. But I get your point, though. I get
It's
your point.
still perfect iconography.
It is. It
Uh,
is. It is. Yeah.
yeah, this you can't like people said you can't buy this kind of publicity. You can't buy this kind of marketing. And I'm just telling you, man, something bigger than us protected that man yesterday. I don't know if it was God or the devil or something else, but something did. That doesn't happen. You don't, at the literal last moment, turn your head the precise amount, perfectly, Chester,
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect, to only get your ear clipped, unless something's up, man. The
Yeah.
mathematics on that are
It's true.
insane.
Yeah. And ladies
But
like
it happened.
stars. Melania's like, ooh, you're so sexy, Donald. I'm sure.
Melania did put out a thing, very, very, very noble as usual,
Yeah.
of her statement, and basically just her heart goes out to the people who got injured. Her
Right.
husband too, but
Well, yeah, but I
also
mean,
basically trying to get people to understand that he's Donald Trump, but he's also Donald, her husband, her
sure.
father of her
Oh,
child.
they hate
He's a
her.
grandfather.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
they must be seething over it though, because she's East European lady. So obviously she's much more traditional mom, and we see that. But they
and
hate her.
apparently a very good mom.
Well,
Apparently,
obviously, I mean, because she's very traditional lady.
yeah,
But the thing with it is they hate her simply because she's married to Donald. And But at the same time, they must hate themselves for it because she's the perfect cover model. She literally is, or was a cover model. Because
right.
what are they stuck with putting on the cover of Vogue? Jill Biden, where they could have just in your face glamour with Melania, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
true beauty,
Yeah.
genuinely beautiful.
Oh, a beautiful woman. She's my age, and she's still smoke show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
But
get it
yeah.
now. I think I kind of get it now. Yeah, I get Trump's a billionaire and blah blah blah, but the man's got balls of steel. He just does.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't deny it. You can take anything else you want from him. There's two things you can never take. He's apparently a very good father by the response of all of his children, and he has balls of steel. You can't take it from him. You can
Well,
you can say anything else you want.
people
Can't take
say
it
he
from him.
was a rich boy with a silver spoon in his mouth, and you're not wrong. But you got to understand, his dad gave him $1 million, which is nice.
Yep,
But
I'll take it.
he is so many times richer than his dad,
Yes.
and it's not just that. His dad told him, "Stay out of Manhattan. The sharks are thick. Right? Stay out. Right? Stay over
Yep.
here. Stay in your lane." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, Dad." And immediately, what did he do? First thing he did, went right into Manhattan. And that's why they can't get shit on him. Because I'm not saying that he wouldn't be a dishonest businessman, but he has no choice because they're
Right.
always looking to get him. since he was
Right.
young. He can't make a mistake. That's why he's straight and clean,
Right.
because he has to be.
No choice.
No choice. And he
Uh,
went in and he dominated Manhattan, dude. Dominated it. So,
conquered.
yeah. So,
300 or 400 years or so ago, he would have been probably in charge of some sort of colonial expansion, or multiple. Right?
I'll
He would
go
have been.
further back. He would have legions.
Yeah, he would have been that type of guy
Yeah.
because he just is. That's who he is. That type of guy. And I honestly think his son Baron is going to be even more so.
Maybe.
I genuinely do. There's something about that kid when he stood up and that crowd went nuts. He's never said a word publicly. He's never done anything.
Never heard a
He just
word
stood
from
up.
him. Yeah.
He just stood up and said hi to him, and they went
And
nuts.
he looks
for him.
just like his dad. My goodness,
Yes.
it's almost like a clone.
Maybe he is.
Maybe
he's a Christopher clone, and that's why he's a giant.
Maybe. But you know what would be the greatest serving of justice? Don Jr., Eric, Barron. Right in a row.
Oh, that would be a meltdown of unbelievable. That would, woo, daddy.
32 years of Trump, or more with him. But that would be amazing.
If the rumors are true about Mr. Barron being very politically minded, even Trump said he talks to him about politics. They talk to each other about politics.
Yeah.
And he listens to his son. He takes his son's advice. Is what he said. That's what Trump said. If that's true, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't end up very quickly in a national political situation.
He could. And to be fair, I really want to see Don. Eric, no, I'm not as interested, but I think Don would be a very interesting leader in some capacity. He's got his head screwed on right. But Barron, I'm curious to see when we do see Barron start speaking, because to be fair, I'm going to be completely honest. For years, I kind of always thought Barron had a little bit of a mental problem.
Little tism.
It looked like he was a little bit something, didn't it? But maybe it's just, they kept him really out of the limelight, and he just looked bored all the time.
I think that's really what it is. He's just bored. Hey, I have a sneaking suspicion part of the boredom is like, Dad, why don't we just deal with these people? Like, what? Why are we dealing with this? Now they're shooting at you. Like, I can imagine an 18-year-old, he's full of piss and vinegar. He ain't got time for this bullshit. And now they're shooting at his dad. Like, nah, Dad, why don't we handle this business? That's basically what he's saying. Yeah. I can imagine that. I could see it. But he's Gen Z, bro. We know how crazy Gen Z is. They're nuts. They're insane. Sure. They're insane people. Gen Z.
They said he got accepted into every university he applied to, whatever that means.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't tell me much, because he literally is a Trump. So any place that he applies to is going to accept him because, they're praying for Trump money. Therefore, I don't know what that means. But I do find it very interesting that he chose New York University. I do find that interesting, because if he was got into wherever he applied, then he could easily be a Yale boy or a Harvard boy. Then again, Trump hates those people. But he could have went anywhere he wanted. He could have went to Rice down in Houston. He could have went to UCLA. He could have went to Penn State. He could have went to Oxford, Cambridge. He could have done that, right? Trinity, even.
Yeah, he may still.
Eton.
He may still.
He might do some master or doctorate study somewhere. Depends on if he's actually smart or not. But I do find it very interesting that he did choose UNY. I don't know why he made that choice. It's interesting though, because he's gonna have problems at that university. Then again, he'd have trouble anywhere he goes, wouldn't he?
Listen, maybe he wants the problems.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, if he's anything like his papa, he don't mind conflict. So maybe he wants the problem.
Maybe.
There's a good chance he's all about it. He's ready for it. He wants the challenge. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm
we'll
sure
see.
He got accepted to DeVry Allen. I'm sure. Maybe just do University of
Just go
Phoenix
buy it.
online.
Go buy it. But yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. SC Spider says, been working on some Care Bear style parody sketches of Trump and Biden. Sad to say, but yesterday's incident was a creative's gold mine. Yeah, no. The memes will roll, and they already are. I one of the best ones I've seen so far is the I forget which Matrix it was, but the scene where
The
he's
first
dealing.
one.
No.
Yeah.
He's no. This is one where he's dealing with a Merovingian. So it's probably the third one, I'd say, or the second or third
Second
one.
one.
But where Neo puts up and starts the swarm of bullets with his hand, and of course he's got Trump's head on. So it's great.
Not today, Satan.
Not
Not
today,
today.
Satan. Not today. Anyway, I gotta go. My wife's making
Yeah.
lunch, and I'm gonna get yelled
Oh,
at, so we're gonna go.
I can
Uh,
hear. I can hear her in the background. You're
yeah,
about to get screamed at.
yeah,
I could tell.
she's moving around. Well, no, she's just ignoring me, making her own food, and is like, "You can go to hell." So
Oh,
anyway, but that was interesting day. I'm happy that Trump's okay. Like I said, I wouldn't want this on really anybody.
we
I
went
want to.
golfing today.
Well, I want to see people removed, but I not necessarily want them dead. But of course, the most important thing is because, to be fair, he suffered hardly anything, and he gets it. But we have a dead American and several injured Americans who did nothing more than go to a political rally to support their candidate. That's all they did.
That's correct.
They didn't do anything else. They're not hurting you. They're not insulting you. Their presence is not equal to Nazis and or fascism. They are simply Americans enjoying
That's
their right. And one of them is dead. And that is unacceptable bullshit.
yep.
So,
And there's no way to justify it, and there's no reason to mock it.
no.
Um, because listen, you're not immune. All this arrogance, this hubris,
Yeah.
you're not immune either. Bullets kill you too, and it could happen to you very easily as it did them.
Well, if if
Period.
if things actually kicked off and we got into an actual war footing in America, and keep in mind, we haven't had actual war footing in America in 200 years, more than 200 years, right? Not
Correct.
counting the Civil War, right? But okay, I'll count the Civil War. So, 160 years, right?
Right.
Americans don't understand war like most of the rest of the world does. Old Rabbit here, we're always thankful for him to come in and be part of what we're doing. He's, without question, has relatives that survived the Blitz. Without question. He has in
Right.
his living memory around him people that have felt and seen war in their face. Most of the world
Yeah.
has. We Americans, Canadians, we haven't seen war in our face in generations. Generations.
Correct.
And when if something like that were to actually kick off, oh boy, because war is, my father uh was a lifetime warrior, right? Like I
Right.
said, he was recon in Vietnam. He worked for the Pentagon. He's been running around the globe doing the bidding of the American government for the majority of his life. And then he went and trained other people to do it, right? That's my dad, right?
Right.
So, okay, lifelong soldier, therefore must be like some of those assholes of the past that glorify war. My father said succinctly to someone who made a statement around him like that, and he says, "There is no glory in war. There is no honor in war. War is death. It is ugly, and you don't want no part of it." And that's coming from a lifelong soldier. He doesn't glamorize it. As far as he's concerned, it's a disgusting thing. And you don't want that in your face. And all these idiots talking about you had 6 shots and well, you couldn't even hit him once, and all these kind of idiots that are constantly screaming for death of this group or that. You don't know what war is. I don't know what war is. Thundera doesn't know what war is. None of us do. The closest person
Correct.
I can see here in the chat that would know anything about war would be Rabbit, because I'm sure he has family that experienced it, right? You don't want that in your face. You don't understand the ugly brutality of the thing. You don't get it. These people watch too many goddamn movies, dude.
Yep. Exactly. That, and we have Hollywood brain all over the place. A lot of young women have Disney brain. A lot of these so-called men have Hollywood brain, and they think it's going to be some heroic, valiant thing. It isn't. Modern. There was a
No.
time maybe where war could be that. That time ended with the firearm. There is no honor left.
Yeah, but
There's
even
no
then,
honor
it's
left.
just people who don't even know what they're fighting for dying, dude. Even in that situation,
Yes,
war is
exactly.
bullshit. You don't want it. You don't want people in your face. You don't want this. You don't want it in your homeland, for sure. And Rabbit agrees. True. Yeah, we don't want this nonsense. And it's just shocking to me how many of these people are so excited about the death of a person who they don't even know, who has never actually said anything particular untoward. I mean, what has he said? He said that these crazy sycophant, fans who follow you around, they're so crazy and let you do anything. They'll even let you grab them by the pussy. That's what he said, and that's like the
Correct.
worst thing I've ever heard him say. And he's not wrong,
Correct.
right? But
Completely
yet,
right.
but yet they want him dead. They want all his people dead. How many times we've seen Hillary and these other ones call for all Trump supporters to be re-educated? What?
Uh-huh. That's a call to genocide. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have, let's say even 15% are just say no, and then
Yeah.
you.
Well, SE
What are you gonna do
Spider,
with them?
I see what you mean. Of course, I have my dad's Vietnam vet and a vet of other
Yep.
things. That's not what I mean. We always have vets. You probably have family right now that are vets, but that's not what I mean. These are not in our country. That's what I
Right.
mean. America. We haven't had it on our soil, in our face, where our mothers and our daughters and our nieces are in harm's way. We have not had this in generations. We have our people go off to other foreign wars. Sure, we fight on their land, either against them or for them. Either way. So our soldier's a soldier. But I'm talking about on our land, in our face. We have not had this in a long, long, long time. Americans don't know what that means. A soldier that has been in the field, of course they know. But I'm talking about the average American. We have no living memory of anyone who has seen boots in America murdering people, burning down towns, raising fields, raping the population. We have not seen this. And keep in mind, throughout our history of human history, rape and pillage is the standard. The Americans are the exception, right? And even with us, we've had examples, say in Vietnam, where that has happened. Now we prosecute the hell out of them, but the Americans are very, very unique in that way, where we stand against that. Most every military in the world right now, right today, the terrorist use of rape and pillage is in full effect, buddy. Full effect.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
telling you, if you get something like that popping off in America, it'll come back.
Yep.
That's what I mean, AC Spider. I mean on
Very
our
quickly.
soil. Yeah,
Very, very, very quickly. Pop right back up because it's part of human nature, Chester. And I'm going to do this one. I think
it
it's a
is.
great one. It's perfect for what we were just talking about. The reason why these things always come back, the reason why we cannot escape the worst of who we are as a person, as a species, is because the heart of darkness is constant. Its face changes, never its nature.
Hmm. Namaste. Later, everybody. Stay safe. God bless America.
I hope so.